Appointed to investigate classified documents found in an office Joe Biden used for a few years after he was vice president.
The Biden administration is cooperating with the National Archives and Department of Justice. That's according to President Biden's special counsel in response to Obama-era documents found at the Penn Biden Center think tank.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. This just months after the FBI seized classified materials from the Trump Florida resort. Republican Congressman Michael Waltz echoed something the former president wrote on social media, asking on Fox,
where's the FBI raid? Where is this big show of force to make sure there's no other classified documents there? Was that folder and that box of documents the only one?
Well, now that Republicans are in charge of the House, they passed their first bill of the new Congress.
Repeals funding for the IRS to hire 87,000 new employees. Top Ways and Means Committee Democrat Richard Neal says Republicans aren't looking out for middle-class Americans.
They don't want a fairer tax administration. They think it's bad for some of their supporters.
The legislation does not have bipartisan support, is unlikely to advance in the Senate.
That's Jared Halpern. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Helping students and teachers. It's mostly cloudy and 36 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Republicans and Democrats in the state legislature are somewhat on the same page when it comes to funding schools over the next 2 years. They are in agreement about eliminating school textbook fees. House Speaker Todd Houston.
We'll look at what opportunities there are to do that and how we give parents and the flexibility to use those dollars to get the curriculum materials they need for their kids.
But Democrats also want universal pre-K systems throughout the state. Republicans seem intrigued by that, but feel getting teachers paid is a higher priority. Governor Holcomb expected to highlight education and other priorities for the General Assembly in his State of the State address, which is tonight at 7. You can hear that right here on 93 WIBC. 5 people had to be rescued from an apartment fire on the east side Monday night. It was near 30th and Post, where firefighters arrived to find a small fire on a couch inside one of the units. They put it out and then started looking for people inside.
Within that time of the primary search that they located 5 victims inside this structure. All of the victims were unconscious. All of the victims required CPR.
IFD Battalion Chief Rita Wright. They are an adult and 4 kids. All are now recovering at hospitals. After decades in business, this popular restaurant might be changing hands.
If you live in Speedway or you visited the area for the Indianapolis 500, for example, you've probably had a meal and a root beer at Mug & Bun. After 60 years, the owner has decided to sell the business and everything that comes with it. That's over 2 acres of land with a pizza shop, drive-up restaurant, and a sit-down spot. If you think you're ready to get into the eating business, it'll cost you just over $2 million. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Colts interim head coach Jeff Saturday still wants the job for real, despite going 1-7 during his short tenure.
It has not changed my mind. If I get this job, there's going to be significant change.
General Manager Chris Ballard will be talking about the coaching future coming up a little bit later on this morning. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
Southbound 65, Lebanon has reopened to State Road 32. We are still backed up to US 52. Inbound 70 coming into downtown. Stop traffic, Everson Avenue past Rural Street, Keystone Avenue. It's because of a crash that has cleared. And now a crash reported northbound 65 at Meridian Penn. Yeah, another one. Looking at the south side, westbound 465, a little slow around Emerson Avenue. Traffic sponsored by Fresh Time Market. Get a real healthy start to the new year at Fresh Time Market's biggest sale of the year. Save 33% on all vitamins and body care now through January 10th. Fresh Time Market. Get real. I'm Matt Baer with Traffic on the 5s. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
Hopefully, you'll never have a house or business fire. But if you do, hopefully, you'll never forget this name, Michaelis. They can be there before that lump in your throat goes away. In fact, they're the reason it goes away. Over 35 years of helping people recover from faulty wiring, lightning strikes, or that unattended pot of pasta on the stove. Michaelis crews often roll in before the fire hoses are rolled up. Their proven process of water extraction, smoke removal, and content storage will calm your nerves. Then their talented craftsmen will rebuild your home and restore your spirits. That starts by being your advocate with the insurance company. You'll find Michaelis doesn't just feel for you, they work for you. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy skies, slightly warmer and quiet today, a high of 47. Those clouds continue to increase overnight. Chilly but not too cold, a low down to 36. I'm Wish TV Storm Tracking meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
We're at 36 right now, partly cloudy on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, January 10th. It is 7 minutes after 9, and you're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. So it was the first day of the Indiana General Assembly yesterday. They all came in, they gathered, they hugged, they brushed each other's hair, and then got down to business. What's the deal with you and Holcomb?
So the first day, Casey, I don't know if you were technically working here or not. I don't know if you had started or not. Casey's setting things up in her office, and I'm getting ready to leave, and she just looks at me and goes, so what's the deal with you and Holcomb? And I politely responded, you don't have enough time.
How long you got? All right, well, let's talk about this. The Indiana Family and Social Services Administration lost nearly 3 dozen laptops. This was worth an estimated $21,800, and this was part of the setting up and the winding down of the statewide vaccination hotline during the middle of the pandemic. So it's being reported that about 53 laptops are gone. Poof, missing.
I cannot tell you the colossal waste that takes place in state government. And during the governor's race in 2020, of all the hyper-offensive things that Lockdown McGee, High Tax Holcomb, whatever we're calling him today, did. Well, it wasn't the VIP meet and greet with domestic terrorist Malik Muhammad. It wasn't trying to put you in jail for not wearing a mask. It wasn't shutting down tens of thousands of businesses. It wasn't putting 1 million people out of work. It wasn't any of that. That stuff was its own thing. But in a statewide televised debate, he had the audacity to look into the camera when they were talking about waste in government and say, we have cut state government. The direct quote was, we have cut state government to the bone, I believe. I cannot tell you, as someone who once worked in state government and who has many, many friends in state government, and as Casey knows, once had someone who not all that long ago, who is very, very close to me, who worked in state government, who got the hell out of there as fast as possible, the colossal dumpster fire that is the state of Indiana, how poorly it's run, and the colossal amount of waste that is engaged over there on a daily basis. And look at this. They lost, Casey, $21,000 in laptops. Why? Because it wasn't theirs. Because they rushed to set up this stupid vaccine hotline without really any sort of paperwork or verification or anything. The money's here. The money's flown in from the federal government. Just throw it up there. Who cares? We'll deal with it later. And they don't care. There's not going to be a single prosecution. No one's going to be held accountable. Most of these weren't lost. They were stolen and not returned.
So the Inspector General's office found that in the rush to get that call center, Indiana's 211 hotline, up and operational, the agency did not document very much. It didn't track which contract employee got which laptop. And in fact, one employee asked if Knowledge Services could withhold the last paycheck from employees who failed to return the laptop, and that employee was told no. So what do you think that employee had in mind at the end of their run? So are you going to hold on to my last paycheck if I don't return this laptop? No.
So think about when we got hired, when Urban One bought WIBC from Emmis, and we had the orientation. They gave us, not everybody, but they gave us, those of us who do production at home or in the field or whatever, et cetera, a laptop. And think about the tracking that we went through or the verifications, et cetera, when we were given that laptop.
Had to turn your old laptop in, and then they reassigned us new ones.
And it's numbered, and they've got a bunch of stuff on there. And I have no doubt that every time I open that laptop, someone is tracking me when I do it, which is fine. It's company property.
Yeah.
It belongs to someone else. Urban One and the fine people who own Urban One are the owners of that laptop.
We're just using it.
In the case of the state of Indiana, we, the taxpayer, or the owner of that laptop, but because the people who, if Urban One loses a laptop, that's money out of their pocket. So you're right, they care where every single laptop is. But because in state government, just like in the federal government, just like in local governments, it's not theirs, so they don't care. And $21,000 out of people's pockets, oh well.
Yeah. The Indiana State Police submitted the investigation to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office, but declined to prosecute the case, citing poor business practices. Poor business practices from your state government.
And we are led to believe from our governor that the state government has been cut to the bone. During COVID, I cannot tell you the amount of state employees, many of them who desperately wanted to work, some of them who just went into work for fun and sat there with no one there because they tried to find things to do, even if it was cleaning the office, who were sent home for months on end with limited or no communication from their supervisors, with nothing to do. Not the employee's fault. The employees wanted to work. It's because state government is horrific, federal government horrific, state government wasteful, federal government wasteful. That is what government does because it isn't their money. And for Eric Holcomb to have the audacity to look at 7 million people in the eye or in the camera or whatever you want to call it and say we have cut to the bone is an insult to every single one of us.
So the Inspector General's office acknowledged the uniqueness of the pandemic, but then went and told state agencies to prepare now for future scenarios when they have to hire a large amount of people on short notice. So this is a loss. We're just going to mark it as a loss on the P&L statement. But next time there's a pandemic, Rob, next time, do it right, okay? Talk about government waste.
Okay, but it keeps happening, Casey. And so I was hoping we could take a break.
Okay.
And because it just keeps happening is the theme. Because I had a conversation with somebody yesterday about it just keeps happening and how the state and the Republican Party has drifted so far to the left and so far in the entrenched camp of unaccountable, bigger, ever-growing, never-stopping government. And it also line up with a report that Indiana Capital Chronicle had about what's going on with our finances and the budget.
Okay, we'll get to that coming up. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
They don't stop. They don't rest. They don't quit. They don't care how much they lie to you. In the city of Indianapolis, you've got a statement from Joe Hogsett saying, hey, doing great on the violence, guys. Good year on the violence. You want to make the claim that the city is safer? You're ridiculous.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Hey, good morning. It's Casey, and let's talk about your retirement dream, right? You had plans to sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, travel, maybe go see the grandkids, but inflation and the recession has you wondering if all of your hard-earned equity is still going to be there. Well, here's a question. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in the home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all of your property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do with whatever you'd like. So take that trip. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. It's the smarter, fastest way to cash out your home's value without having to move. It's Truehold.com.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you, with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Fill your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for restrictions and exclusions.
The new year is here. Time for a change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand IT field with My Computer Career. In just months. Already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus. And financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 38,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Hello there. My name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is you know you're going to get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. This is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches.
Order the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
See that sign? No shirt, no shoes, no ties.
Right. Learn it. Know it. Live it.
Drinking I did on my last date.
Oh!
It made my voice go low.
Yeah, remember when I told you I had an on-air surprise for you?
Yeah!
This is it.
This is an incredible surprise. Casey, do you know this song?
No.
It is the greatest song ever written by radio, about radio. Harry Chapin's WOLD. It's the story how everyone leaves this industry alone and miserable.
It's very uplifting.
Truth in storytelling. Yikes.
Kevin, A+ way to start the day.
Yeah, you sent this to me last night, and I thought this deserves to be the first bump song.
Yeah, that's what.
Wait, you guys are texting each other again and leaving me out?
Uh-oh.
Well, so here's the thing. So I go for my walk, and when I go for my walk, sometimes songs will just, pop up, and I will think Kevin would really appreciate this. And I just didn't think you would quite appreciate the suffering and awful life path that the guy in this song had trudged down.
If you think about it, it really ties into the mentorship.
Yeah, okay. Well, just so you know, the text that I got from Rob last night was we should add this article about the classified documents found in Biden.
Yeah, I wish
University of Pennsylvania. I mean, that's what he sends to me.
I wish I was included on that one.
Not quite as exciting as Harry Chapin. It's 19 minutes after 9. This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Your challenge for today,
Yeah.
before the day's over, is you go listen to WOLD is the name of the song, and you tell me if that is not the song about life on the radio for about 95% of the people.
Okay, I'll check it out and report back. I think if we all pool our money together, do you think we can get the $2.2 million required for the mug and bun?
Did you see this? It's for sale.
I know.
An institution has come up for grabs in central Indiana, the Mug and Bun in Speedway, and people are just up in arms over this.
You get 4 parcels of land, the restaurant, a pizza shop, and a residence. It comes with the business, the furniture, the fixtures, the equipment, everything. $2.2 million.
A residence. Now, I will say this as someone who once owned a radio station and literally lived in the back of the radio station when I was there.
Never stop working.
There is some merit to investing in the building and being able to like live right where you work. It saves you an incredible amount on fuel and various other rental fees.
All right, well, let's talk about more money. When drafting the state's next budget, lawmakers are going to need to consider the state's ongoing commitments and also one-time obligations. And this is all coming under the cloud of recession, right? This comes after more than a year of revenues outperforming projections. By the end of this year, reserves are estimated to clock in at more than $4 billion.
Yeah, so Indiana Capitol Chronicle had the article. By the way, speaking of that, we're going to have Nikki Kelly join us next. We're going to talk about property taxes and the lack of comprehensive plan from the Republicans on that. Here's what's interesting in this story. And Casey, I have been, let me see here for the people in the YouTube chat. I'm just going to kind of, what am I doing here?
Kick your feet up.
With my feet up here, I'm going to just kind of sit back and watch this because I've been saying for 6 years on various programs that I've been on when the two women were here, and then when I had the show with the one woman, and now the show with you, and I had
the other woman,
the award-winning Rob Kendall show on Sundays, and when I was filling for Tony or Hammer Nigel or whatever. Our state lies to people about being a state that endorses, supports, and props up socialized medicine. We are an Obamacare state. We just lied to people about what we're actually doing, and we gave it a really cool name because if anything's 2.0 and the person who did the first one, we liked them, well, then we can hide and deflect what's really going on. And in this case, we don't call our socialized medicine Obamacare, we call it HIP 2.0. And so in this article from Indiana Capitol Chronicle, they talk about the expenditures that the state is having to deal with. And what do you know? In this article, they detail that since 2006, the state obligation to Medicare, the Medicaid Assistance Fund, has more than doubled from $1.4 billion to $3.9 billion. Now, Mitch Daniels and Mike Pence and Eric Holcomb, they all told me, we are a free market state. We have a free market solution to health care in this state. It sure seems to me like we have one solution, and that is a government solution, which is exactly what I've been telling you people for 6 years on this radio station. Once again, I was 100% right. Thank you very much.
So you're talking about the Medicaid Assistance Fund, which has grown 179%.
All under Republicans, right? I mean, now they didn't technically have certainly super majorities or the House and the Senate at certain times, but they have at least had one of the branches of government or two of the branches of government since 2006. They've had the governor's office the entire time. And the reason that they do this is because they like legalized vote buying. I don't know how many times I have to be proven correct statistically and thrown right in front of people's faces. They have grown, that's almost 3 times. The Socialized Medicine Fund is almost 3 times bigger today than it was in 2006. And here's what happens with the Socialized Medicine Fund. And I'm telling you, and this is not the fault of the people who are getting it, it is the fault of the state who gives it away. There are tens of thousands of able-bodied people who, because of the way and the variety in which they work, can show a tax return that says they make X amount of dollars. And because there is no oversight of this fund, those people, no matter what they make, or that they're living, or that they have iPhones, or that they're eating, or that they're owning a home, or whatever, continue to get insurance at, in many cases, $5, $10, $15 a month. Casey, how much is your insurance?
More than that.
A lot more than that. And we're paying for it. And this is the crap I've been talking about. Why do they do that? Because when you give somebody that, well, of course they're going to vote for you. Eric Holcomb gives me cheap insurance. When in reality, these people could be working and paying their own fair share. Not the fault of the people who get it. You should take every legal avenue possible to improve your existence. This is wholly the fault of the government. It is wholly the fault of the Indiana Republicans because they have and will continue to control everything. This is why they can't do the tax cuts, right? This is what we've talked about. The reason they won't come off the money when they have $1,500 of your money sitting in an account with no use and they give you $200 back, why would they do that? because it's going to places like this, and this will never stop. It only continues to grow.
Well, isn't it by signing up for this that the state gets more money from the federal budget?
Yes, and our old pals like Jim Lucas say, well, we're just dealing with the hand the federal government dealt us. It sure seems like you are all too eager to stick those little paws out there and go, gimme more.
The state budget director, Zach Jackson, said this is one of the fastest growing appropriations. And another big transition, which is going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars, is pivoting from the fee-for-service model to a managed care model for Medicaid. And this is specifically for home and community-based services.
We talked about this last segment. I know we got to get to a break, and then we'll talk with Nikki Kelly about property taxes. But having had to work with these people as a local government official, having had to work with these people as a state official, having to have heard about these people since I have been out of state government for whatever it's been, 8 years now, from various friends who are at various levels of state government. This place is a joke. If you think Indiana is some sort of thing you should hold up to the world, like in The Lion King, and go, look at us, everyone should be like us, you are dreaming. There is colossal waste. There is colossal mismanagement. There is colossal $21,000 worth of laptops go missing. There is waste of resources, human and otherwise, but people just keep going along with it, so why would they do anything different?
So Holcomb has his State of the State address tonight at 7 p.m. So what do you think he's going to say? The state of our state is...
Well, he's going to tell you that it's great. We're the envy of the Midwest. We're the blah, 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 blah.
All right, we've got Nikki Kelly joining us next from Indiana Capital Chronicle on 93 WIBC.
The new year's upon us, which means fresh beginnings. So what better way to kick off 2023 than with a smarter, lasting clean for your home? Bring that new beginning to your home rugs, hardwoods, tiles, and have them looking their best all year long. Zero Res uses their unique cleaning technology to perfectly clean your carpets, tiles, hardwood floors, and more. Their ZR water is the real thing, and it's patented because it cleans your carpets and floors without soapy residue. Soapy residues means things get dirtier quicker, and ZR water prevents that from happening. The team of knowledgeable technicians at Zero Res will always walk through the entire carpet cleaning process with you and make sure you're completely satisfied before they leave. So start 2023 off the right way by calling Zero Res. If you call Zero Res today, you get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $139. Or visit ZeroResIndy.com and use promo code ZeroRes1 or call 388-5141 for a smarter, lasting clean. 388-5141 or ZeroResIndy.com.
My name is Megan Davis, and I am the Director of Training and Communications here at the Humane Society for Hamilton County. We nominated Trudy because she truly embodies our mission and message of whatever it takes.
And I'm Jiffy Lube owner Steve Sanner. At Jiffy Lube, we are proud to support Hoosier charities that use their vehicles to do more to make Indiana a better place to live.
I think what the most important thing to me is when we get dogs in that are so scared, I just love to take these dogs under my wing. I need my vehicle to be in top shape because I'm driving here 6 days a week.
Jiffy Lube of Indiana provides all of our Do More winners with free vehicle maintenance for a year. Because now at Jiffy Lube, our trained technicians do more to keep vehicles like theirs and yours on the road. Brakes, tires, batteries, and more, as well as Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
Jiffy Lube accepts competitors' coupons, so you don't have to choose between saving a few dollars versus treating your vehicle to Jiffy Lube's award-winning service. Click on JiffyLubeIndiana.com for a Jiffy Lube near you.
I have that friend who wakes up early to go get everyone McDonald's breakfast while the rest of us sleep in. This is your sign to thank them. And if you're that friend, this is us saying thank you.
Rise and shine with delicious morning deals like 2 for $5 breakfast. Choose from the tasty sausage McMuffin with egg or egg McMuffin. Any 2 for just $5. Breakfast hours only. Single item at regular price. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Did he have documents too? It's mostly cloudy and 37 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. You heard about former President Trump holding lots of documents after he was president. Well, it appears that current President Joe Biden may have done the same thing after he was vice president. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
The Biden administration is cooperating with the National Archives and Department of Justice. That's according to President Biden's special counsel in response to Obama-era documents found at the Penn Biden Center think tank. Former President Donald Trump asking on his Truth Social account, quote, "When is the FBI going to raid the many homes of Joe Biden, perhaps even the White House?" Fox News reports Attorney General Merrick Garland has tapped John Lausch, the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, to deal with the issue. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
The Georgia Bulldogs are the champions of college football for the second straight year. The Dogs blew out TCU 65-7 in Monday's college football playoff national championship game. The win wraps up a 15-0 season for the Bulldogs. They also become the first team to repeat as champions since Alabama did it back in 2011 and 2012. And now the stock report. We're in the red to start today. The Dow was down 51 points to 33,619. The Nasdaq down 31 to 11,157. And the S&P 500 is down 5.5 to 3,908. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Home shows provide homeowners the deepest discounts of the year on remodeling projects. And right now, Window Nation is bringing the home show savings right into your house. 2 free windows with every 2 you buy, no limit. Plus, pay no interest for 60 months.
Use their free virtual visualizer at windownation.com/homeshow. Upload a picture of your house and try out hundreds of options online. Get design tips from the experts and learn how Window Nation's trained installation specialists have helped over 150,000 homes with over 96% customer satisfaction rates. But remember, these once-a-year home show savings are for a very limited time. Call Window Nation today, 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com/homeshow. Get 2 windows free with every 2 that you buy. Pay no interest for 60 months. That's 5 full years. 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com/homeshow.
Join Mark Petrick seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $49.99 guaranteed. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. Also, lose all the weight and let Mark Patrick Hypnosis destroy your unwanted cravings. Seminars January 19th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss 5:30 p.m., stop smoking 8 p.m. Or January 21st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss 11 a.m., stop smoking 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
'Cause I'm the tax man. Yeah, I'm the tax man.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here. And, you know, Casey, I don't know if you're aware, but this property tax thing, it's kind of a big issue.
I've heard something about it.
And you may be aware, I've been a little critical of the inaction by the Republicans. No. And by inaction, I mean absolutely nothing at all. And the legislative session has begun. And yesterday, the other day, the Indiana Capitol Chronicle had a nice report on this, detailing what thus far is a lack of comprehensive plan for the Republicans. Now, as we said, there are individuals who have filed individual bills. And, well, let's talk with one of the best reporters in the business from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle, Nikki Kelly. Nikki, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm great. So now you obviously covered the State House for years and years and years with the Journal-Gazette. Now it's Indiana Capitol Chronicle. Did your office improve when you switched over to Capitol Chronicle? Did you keep the same digs? How is it over there at the State House for the new session?
Well, because we have a staff of 4, we did get an office across the street from the State House.
There you go.
I previously worked in a shack in the basement, but that's not good for more than one person.
All right, so let's talk about property taxes. You guys had a very nice expose on this. I remain shocked, and many conservatives at least, and Republicans in general remain shocked. This seemed like an issue that would be right in the wheelhouse of the Republicans, given the success they had on property tax reform in 08 and 10. They knew for a year this assessment issue was a big deal, but your reporting says that while there are individual bills, some of them even coming from Democrats, there doesn't seem to be a comprehensive plan like there was in 08 or 010 related to property taxes. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think first of all, the reason is because we still don't have the property tax bills. I mean, you keep saying massive and skyrocketing. We get the bills here in a few weeks. They're due in March. Just because your assessment went up doesn't mean your bill's going to go up. Now, it still could, but it's part of a mathematical equation. So if a city or town, for instance, has a budget that stayed the same and people's assessments went up, they can technically charge a lower tax rate to get the same amount of money. So we really don't know yet. And I think we're waiting for some more data to come in through the Department of Local Government Finance to figure out if there's a problem to solve.
I think one of the things we base that on is obviously the assessments, but also we have begun to have many people who are calling or writing the show saying, look, my lender is telling me my escrow is going up X amount in anticipation of that. They're kind of in the business of doing those sort of things. So I think overall, it would be safe to think, though, that people's property taxes are going to go up if we're banking on local governments doing the right thing and having a lower rate. I just think people, when they start getting those letters, they're anticipating, hey, this is going to go up.
Yeah, and I don't know all that goes into them doing that. I mean, for instance, if your escrow was under last year, then they're obviously going to raise it for the year forward. They will take into account the assessed value, of course. I'm just saying I think we need more data. You mentioned that I was at the Journal-Gazette for years. I was around when we first changed to the market-based system, back after the property tax system was found unconstitutional. So I went through that whole thing. And I think we're getting the first sort of growing pains of what a market-based system means, which is everyone's selling their property for these huge amounts of money, right? Well, assessments are based on sales disclosures of properties that are selling that are similar to you or yours. So, that's what we're seeing, and I think lawmakers are being very cautious about whether we sort of throw the baby out with the bathwater when it's kind of cyclical. Like we could see assessments go down in a couple of years.
Nikki Kelly from the Journal-Gazette. I'm terribly sorry. All those years of doing that. Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle is our guest. Talking about property taxes, they have a great piece out over at indianacapitalchronicle.com. Was it a mistake in hindsight to put the tax caps in the Constitution? Because does that now make it harder for them to do large-scale reforms because the tax caps are part of the Constitution?
Yeah, it does absolutely make it harder. There's not a lot they can do. They can freeze some assessments, which gets you back. If they start freezing assessments for some people and not others, like, for instance, older people who've had their homes a certain amount of years, that gets us back into the system we were before, where we're treating people not the same, and it gets all out of whack. They can freeze tax bills as well, and there are some bills on that. But again, focusing on certain groups of people. So that's very complicated. We did ask Governor Holcomb about this yesterday, and I can read you his quote if you want.
Oh, great. Yes. He finally said something. Great. Yes, go, please.
Okay, so hear what he said. He said they're looking into it. They should know in the next few weeks how it is. He said, hold on, let me find this here. This will be discussed. We'll be ready to act if we need to in a very surgical way and not just move away from all the hard work that we've done to provide a lot of certainty when it comes to property taxes for commercial and residential property.
Okay, well, at least you see, this is why you're one of the best in the business. You finally, after all this time, got him to say something. So great job. Casey, go ahead.
So, Nikki, I want to ask you, because the legislative session just began, what was the vibe? They're working on the budget.
Yep. Yeah, the first day is always, sort of pomp and circumstance and hugging and how was your holidays. It's never very serious. It takes a few weeks to see if there's going to be any tension. All the bills aren't even out yet, so it's going to be a pretty slow week, obviously highlighted by the governor's State of the State address tonight.
Nikki Kelly, our guest from the Indiana Capital Chronicle. Find her at indianacapitalchronicle.com. I'm sure a whole bunch of radio broadcasters do that with you when you do interviews, right?
No, just you, Rob.
Just you.
Hey, so, I think from our perspective, we look at it and say, look, we're not against property. I am against property taxes, but we understand they're going to exist. I think our issue is if you're not monetizing that asset, right? You own a stock. If Tesla stock goes up, you don't pay for the Tesla stock until you monetize it. I think about somebody like my dad who's lived in the same home for 37 years and he's never monetized that asset, yet he keeps paying. And, he's a senior citizen now. Are they appreciating that's like part of the equation, that people keep getting not only taxed, but taxed higher and higher and higher for things that they are not monetizing? Does that register with these lawmakers at all that you're talking to?
I think it does register with them, but you also have to play a little devil's advocate, which is your dad is still getting services for that house, right? And those services go up. So the streets, fire protection, police protection, maybe his house hasn't caught fire, thank God, but those firefighters still have to be there. They get paid more every year. Their insurance goes up, to be able to staff that firehouse. So that's an example of the services still continue. And those, obviously, everything's gone up with inflation, including what we're paying people. So, I can see both sides to that argument.
Is there I'm asking you to prognosticate here, which I know you're in the reporting business, but you also write a very nice opinion piece now. So now you can prognosticate over at Indiana Capitol Chronicle. When we get done with session in April, do you think there will be small tinkers to the property tax structure in Indiana? There will be something big that happens. There will be nothing that happens at all. If you were a guesser, which you're an editorialist now, you're in the guessing game. What do you think?
I think the most we'll probably see is some tinkering or small tweaks. Like I said, I think this is the painful part of a market-based system, but, it is a little bit cyclical, and this is unfortunately the year that it goes up. Obviously, we saw property tax, the assessments went up about 15% on average. The estimate is going to be 7% for bills. We'll know more in a couple weeks, but I would bank on more the tinkering side.
Now, who do you think is going to take the lead on the tinkering?
Well, I think it'll probably just be individual lawmakers. There are a number of bills out there. There's some vehicle bills that they can put some stuff in. I do, even talking to leadership, they're aware of it. They're ready to deal with that in the second half if they need to, but they're not going to, put a lot of time into it in the first half when we don't have all the data yet.
Yeah, so I think that's what she was asking. There's not going to be a thing like with abortion where Rod Bray comes out and says, this bill is starting here. I'm leading on this bill. Here's the general framework. We may have some changes made to it, but here is the plan for the Republicans. Like you don't see that happening.
No, and largely because they don't know what the problem is yet, so it's hard to define a solution unless you know exactly, what the data is for what the problem might be.
Okay, you can find her over at IndianaCapitalChronicle.com. Friend of the show, we love her. Nikki Kelly, thank you for all you do, and thanks for covering the State House. You guys do a phenomenal job. We love using your stuff, so thanks for your contribution to transparency in Indiana government.
Thank you.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Big Hammer and Nigel show today, 3 to 7, the latest on what's happening with Washington, and it's a big week for the Delphi trial. 93 WIBC.
My partners had told me I should get my knee replaced. I was in my 40s, and I decided that I wouldn't do that.
That's orthopedic surgeon Dr. John Herzog, who found regenerative medicine years ago and became a believer.
It changed my life around. It improved me to a point where I was able to jog again.
That's when Dr. Herzog switched his focus from surgery to helping his patients with natural biologics.
I've treated at least 5,000 patients. I believe your body has everything it needs to heal itself.
Today, you'll find Dr. Herzog at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in this exciting field of medicine that can give lasting pain relief with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery.
I have patients coming up to me that I did 10 years ago saying, Doc, my elbow's still working great. I'm playing tennis 3 days a week.
Call QC Kinetics now to explore alternative ways to deal with your pain. It's a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Experience the future of connectivity with Spectrum One. You get Spectrum Internet delivering the fastest speeds in the nation for $49.99 a month. Advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced privacy and security, free for 12 months. And a Spectrum mobile line with unlimited talk, text, and data, plus nationwide 5G, free for 12 months. That's Spectrum One. Visit Spectrum.com or your local Spectrum store today. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
There's a lot of sexy content on the internet. And there's WIBC, full of faces meant for radio. Hammer and Nigel, Kendall and Casey. Okay, Casey could be on TV. Now streaming every day on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/WIBC.
Don't you feel it growing day by day? People getting ready for the move.
Good morning, 9:46. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has been defending her position on voting for McCarthy and also taking a selfie with him. She was stripped of her committee assignments last year, worked out a deal with McCarthy to be placed back on a prominent committee if he wins, and he did, so now she will. And now she's fighting with Dr. Dre. She used one of his songs in a video. He told her to stop doing that. The video was seen by nearly 2 million people, and Dr. Dre said, "I don't license my music to politicians. Cut it out."
So Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of a handful of people, including our old friend Jim Banks, who just basically, for one reason or another, fell in love with Kevin McCarthy. Mm-hmm. And now, look, I will give Banks credit. He doesn't have quite the starry-eyed look and doesn't appear to be sprinting for selfies like Marjorie Taylor Greene is. Now, speaking of Banks, can I just veer off topic here for just a second? Sorry.
Sure.
He is doing one of the...
Is he texting you?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you look down at your phone.
No,
like...
I wanted to read this because this is the most annoying and obnoxious thing in the world, where Jim Banks is running for Senate without declaring he's running for Senate. Mm-hmm. Okay, you know, like how it's like there's a sentence, but there's no end to the sentence? Like, this is what he's doing. I'm going to read you this tweet, okay? Mm-hmm. I campaigned on, this is from Jim Banks, I campaigned on balancing the budget and one of the most fiscally conservative voting records in Congress. Senator Braun has led the fight for balanced budgets in the U.S. Senate, and Indiana deserves a senator to replace him who will do the same. What, unless you are actually running for U.S. Senate, what do these two things have to do with each other? Dude, you're running. You desperately want to be in politics. You're becoming an office hopper. State Senate, U.S. Congress, U.S. Senate. You wanted to be a leader in the House. You didn't get that. And you've been a leader in the House. You wouldn't have run for Senate. You want to be in power. You want people to want to shake your hand and get a photo with you. Just say it. Why with the cutesy stuff here? We all know what you're doing. Just say, I'm running for Senate. Put up or shut up. Let's go.
His tweets have been really on fire lately. He said one set of rules for anyone named Biden, Clinton, or Obama, and a different set of rules for the rest of us. Classified documents were found at Joe Biden's think tank before the midterms. Why are we just finding out now?
Here's the tweet I would like Jim Banks to send out if he really is on fire and really is a tough guy and really proud of what he's done and really does think he's conservative. I'd like him to send the following tweet. And I mean, how many characters is it on Twitter? Is it 240? Is it 240? I don't know if he could get this in 240 characters or less. He might have to do some editing with it, but I'm going to give it a go here. Are you ready, Casey?
Yeah.
All right, Jim, I know your people listen all the time or you're listening. So if you need to write this down, maybe I'll say it more than once. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. I proudly voted for Kevin McCarthy over and 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 over again. Can you get that in 240 characters?
Is it 240?
I don't know. We'll have to try that out. But if he really wants to be a tough guy and he really is proud of Kevin, his undying love for Kevin McCarthy, that should be the tweet he should send out.
Well,
Sorry, I didn't mean to get off on Jim Banks. That just really annoys me. It's like, dude, you want to be a senator. You wanted to be in charge of the House. Your House colleagues scorned you because apparently you're not doing a very good job or very well liked. So you went to the next position of power. We all know what you're doing. And you kissed as much ass as possible so that the Mitch McConnell sweet daddy money will rain down on you when you run for Senate. So just say it. You're running.
He also tweeted out that tonight I voted to defund Joe Biden's 87,000 IRS agent army. We need less government, not more. And that's what Marjorie Taylor Greene also said. She posted that Republicans will bring accountability back to Washington. We'll investigate Dr. Fauci. We will repeal the 87,000 IRS army and will impeach Joe Biden. And they did that. Their first bill last night was to repeal the funding for the 87,000 IRS agents. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, we believe government should be here to help you, not go after you.
Yeah, but it's all for show because that is not going to become law. Thanks to the Republicans in the Senate. The House of Representatives has no power whatsoever right now. Now, they will have power coming up over the debt ceiling. And boy, if we're really serious about defunding those IRS agents, wouldn't it be great to say, okay, maybe we'll agree to raise a short-term debt ceiling increase if you eliminate the funding for the 87,000 IRS agents. We'll find out how serious Republicans are when they actually have the ability to influence policy. They knew when they cast this vote. That's like me saying, I'm voting to say that I will scale Mount Kilimanjaro in 3 days or less, when I know nobody's actually going to force me to scale Mount Kilimanjaro, but I said I would do it, but nobody's actually making you do it. Here is Marjorie Taylor Greene explaining why she voted for Kevin McCarthy and that she's no rhino, and she said everything other than he has really nice hair. Take a listen.
So what would you say to the people who are suggesting that just because they disagree with you on this issue of McCarthy, that somehow you're a rhino now?
Oh, my goodness. Well, they're going to quickly find out there's nothing changed about me, and I'll never apologize for posting a picture of our newly elected Republican Speaker of the House after I have suffered and truly been persecuted under Nancy Pelosi. I'm not sorry about that. I am so excited that we elected Kevin McCarthy because I know the agenda that he's laid out, and he cannot wait to get it passed. We just got to get Republicans together on board for all of us to work hard for the American people and get it done.
That is so insulting because Kevin McCarthy did not lay this agenda out. You know who laid the agenda out? The 20 people who kept voting against Kevin McCarthy until he agreed to their agenda. This is the agenda because of people like Matt Gaetz and like Lauren Boebert and like Byron Donalds and Chip Roy. That's the reason this is the agenda. Kevin McCarthy doesn't want anything to do with any of this. He's doing it because he's forced to.
Well, she is going to be put back on one of those committees that she wanted. So good for her. She's not in it for the voters. She's in it for herself. But she did have a point. You know, under Pelosi, she was doxxed. And they were also calling in fake. I don't even know what the word was. When the police kept showing up.
Swatting.
Swatting,
yes.
Right. When the police kept showing up to her house for no reason. So she did go through a lot under Pelosi. So I imagine personally, she's really happy it's McCarthy now. Next.
Can we play real quick this audio of Stacey Abrams?
If we have to.
She was
professional campaigner Stacey Abrams.
She was on with Drew Barrymore yesterday. And Drew Barrymore, who I used to always kind of like.
Not anymore.
No, she is super liberal. She probably always was super liberal, but she's just like open about her liberalism now. She is so disgustingly excited that Stacey Abrams unprompted, I mean, I don't know for what or why or who would want her to do this, but she has announced she is not giving up. She's going to run for another public office.
So what's next? Are you going to run again? Are you going? Do we get to look forward to this and galvanize again?
I will likely run again.
Yeah!
I don't know what.
Yes! Oh my God. So are you going to go up against some tough men who kind of don't always play fair?
Well, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And if it doesn't work, you try again.
Okay, so two parts of that. One, I have heard people who found out they hit the Mega Millions who were less excited than Drew Barrymore was at the fact that Stacey Abrams is running again. And two, I love the fact that Stacey Abrams has now lost twice in a state where Democrats are winning the Senate races. So clearly not like some radical right-wing, anti-woman state. And Georgia just had a woman senator in Kelly Loeffler before the two people who are in there now. By the way, it's the Democrat men who took the seat away from the woman there, but that's beside the point. But her thing is, you're going to run against some really tough men who don't always play fair.
Somebody needs to look at Stacey Abrams and tell her, it's not me.
Yeah.
It's you.
Think about it in your regular life. I am but a victim of some really tough men who don't play fair. Kevin, when you're calling places to book Uno Gold, if they don't say yes the next time you call someplace, try that as an excuse. Well, I'm just up against some really tough men who don't play fair. Let's see how that goes.
Did you notice, too, that Drew Barrymore and Stacey Abrams during that little back and forth were about 2 feet apart from each other?
Yes.
But the entire audience...
Yes.
We're wearing matching yellow masks.
Yes, I think that is a Drew Barrymore thing, that her audience will wear masks.
Was Stacey Abrams tested for COVID before she sat next to the host?
Casey.
By the way,
Casey.
Stacey Abrams' campaign is $1.4 million in debt. She's going to run again.
Here's the thing, though. Let's not jump to conclusions. Drew Barrymore was awesome in The Wedding Singer.
You just like her because she's cute. It's 9:56. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Good morning.
My husband and I live next door to a haunted graveyard. It's a little creepy, but we manage. Just like we manage without home internet. Do I wish my mobile hotspot was faster? Yes, but I make it work. Kinda. Just like we make it work sleeping next to a 17th century burial ground.
Honey, can you move your hand?
That's not my hand.
It's mine.
Not having home internet? It's not that bad. Grab my hand.
Wait, okay.
No, not up the stairs. We tried that last time. Run around. You can literally run through him.
Don't settle. Switch to Xfinity and get one line of unlimited mobile and home internet together for $50 a month for 12 months. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit your local Xfinity store today. Restrictions apply. Requires new Connect internet service with 1-year contract. Auto pay and paperless billing with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of data usage. Offer ends 3/21/23.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule your complete health assessment at Low T Center. They now offer the convenience of monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay or covered by most health insurance.
If you don't live near a Low T Center or just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy to get started on treatments. Only your first 2 visits are in person. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
The new year is here. Time for a change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand IT field with My Computer Career. In just months, already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus, and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here, letting you know that when you need plumbing help, call who I call, my friends at Hope Plumbing. They're locally owned and proud of their trustworthy, experienced plumbers who are ready to work for you. Hope Plumbing values the importance of keeping you safe. So if you notice a water leak, a clogged drain, or any other plumbing needs, big or small, Hope Plumbing can fix them all. The next time you need a plumber, call Hope Plumbing, 641-HOPE, or visit them online at hopeplumbing.com.
Bonus days are back for pros at Lowe's. You earn points and save when you buy the top pro brands you trust, like DeWalt. Right now, you can save $100 on the powerful DeWalt 8 1/4-inch carbide tipped portable table saw. Was $3.99, now just $2.99. Join today and shop bonus days, only at Lowe's. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 1/20, subject to change while supplies last. Visit Lowe's.com/MVPs bonus points for details.
Coming up in 2 minutes, some agreement between the two parties at the State House. We'll tell you over what coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. After Fox News, you're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Why did it take 2 months for us to find out? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's one of the questions about classified documents found in a Washington think tank office that Joe Biden used for years after he was vice president before running for the White House. His lawyer says
it was a discovery that was made on November 2nd. He continued with this statement, quote, "Since that discovery, the president's personal attorneys have cooperated with the archives and the Department of Justice in a process to ensure that any Obama-Biden administration records are appropriately in the possession of the archives." Attorney General Merrick Garland has called on a U.S. attorney based in Chicago to now review these records.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. Republican Senator James Lankford tells Fox, "We need answers and tables have turned."
President Biden, when he was talking about former President Trump having classified documents, he called it irresponsible and unbelievable that someone would have these classified documents.
Well, the Justice Department opened a criminal investigation into those classified materials the FBI seized from the Trump Florida resort. President Biden's in Mexico for a second day of a summit discussing illegal immigration and drug smuggling. And after his trip to the border Sunday, senators from both parties went there.
These senators were right up against the fence line where the people try to come across the United States. Now, these senators insist that this trip is all about a fact-finding mission. They're going to be heading back to D.C. in a couple of days to take what they've learned, and they say their idea is to turn that into proposed legislation.
That's Fox's Mark Meredith in El Paso, Texas. The rain's going to keep falling on California this week, adding to the damage already done, flooding and mudslides, forcing thousands of evacuations.
I had PTSD from the last one for a couple years, and it's just bringing it all back.
He's in Montecito. She's in Santa Cruz County.
They did have to come in with the boats and rescue a couple people. I heard there's one person down the road here who has their 90-year-old mother living with them, and they brought in a Sea-Doo to get her out.
The storms are blamed for at least 14 deaths in California. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Thinking education. It's mostly cloudy, 37 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Universal Pre-K, a program seen as an option for public preschool in Indiana, is a big-ticket item on the agenda of Democrats in the Indiana State House. They say it will alleviate the burden of paying for a preschool for some low-income families. Republicans appear intrigued.
It's one of those things I know our caucus is serious about taking a look at, and I'm sure the committee will have a lot of conversations about it.
Republican House Speaker Todd Houston, he says that for now, a bigger priority is getting teachers paid more. Governor Holcomb expected to touch on that and a lot more in his State of the State address tonight. He'll speak at 7 o'clock, and you can hear it live right here on 93 WIBC. The call was late Monday night.
We did get 1 or 2 calls to 911 stating that there was an apartment on fire and that there was possible entrapment.
IFD Battalion Chief Rita Wright. It was near 30th and Post where firefighters went into one of the apartments where a fire on a couch filled the entire unit with smoke. They put it out and also rescued 4 kids and an adult. All were having to be given CPR and were revived, and now all are critical at hospitals. A hearing this week in the Delphi murder case. A special judge will hear arguments on a change of venue requested by Richard Allen's attorneys. That hearing is Friday at 10 a.m. Allen is accused of murdering Abby Williams and Libby German near Delphi back in 2017. Allen's attorneys want the case moved out of Carroll County for fear that they will not get a fair trial if it stays there. Jeff Saturday says he wants an honest crack at the coaching job for the Indianapolis Colts next season.
When I came in, I'm thrust into how things have been done, for the past however many years. And I'm appreciative of that and the work that they've done and the success that they've had, but it will look different.
Saturday is said to be one of a handful of candidates that the Colts will interview for the head coaching job. GM Chris Ballard set to address the media a little later this hour. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. My friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, or weight gain. Only $49.99 guaranteed. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all or your money back. Seminars are 8 p.m. on Thursday, January 19th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville, or 2 p.m. on Saturday, January 21st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Registration is 30 minutes before the seminar. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, January 10th. It is 6 minutes after 10, and you're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. And we start the hour off talking about the news that came out yesterday afternoon. Classified documents from Biden's time as vice president were discovered at the Penn Biden Center.
Oh.
All right. So this is a bunch of records that Biden had when he was vice president, including a small number of documents with classified markings. We're told it's less than a dozen documents. And they were at the Penn Biden Center at University of Pennsylvania. His Biden think tank, and that just cracks me up every time I hear that, that there's a Biden think tank. And the attorneys found the documents in a locked closet.
Oh.
They were preparing to leave the office, and they have since returned them to the National Archives, or the National Archives were notified of the finding, and then they took possession of the documents.
Wow. So there's classified documents that were in a locked, secure area.
Mm-hmm.
And so the FBI did a big raid on the building?
No, just the lawyers handed them over.
Weird.
To the National
So what,
Archives.
but
no midnight raid.
Now, Casey, I'm sure I'm being just totally out of line by asking this.
Mm-hmm.
If Trump's house was raided because he had multiple classified documents allegedly
Mm-hmm.
by the FBI, why is Biden's property not being raided? What is the difference here?
Well, there's a
how do we know that's all he has?
Well, we don't.
Oh, or we're just trusting him.
We're just supposed
Is that
to
what we're
believe
doing
him.
here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, there was no subpoena out for these documents
Oh.
because nobody knew they were missing.
Oh, so our government was unaware. Wow, it's almost like $21,000 worth of laptops that went missing from the state of Indiana. It's almost like the government, state government, federal government, whatever, has absolutely no idea what it's doing. And the idea that they are up in arms over documents that were missing because they were at Trump's secure, locked storage unit, they're just making it up.
Well, the National Archives director was not opposed to Biden's policies. He wasn't after Biden.
Oh.
Like, he really wanted to know what was in those papers
Right, sure.
that Trump had.
Yeah. Now, the DOJ, obviously, large-scale investigation. DOJ, I'm sure Merrick Garland naming a special prosecutor of some sort immediately to investigate these matters.
Well, the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, has appointed U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois to review the matter.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Has Biden commented on this at all?
He was actually asked.
Oh, a random confused accidental act of journalism broke out.
He was asked. He was in a meeting, big table full of a lot of important people. Reporters were being ushered out, and someone yelled to him, "Hey, any word about the documents?" And guess what he said?
What?
That's what he said. Nothing. But you know what? He did have things to say about when documents were found at Trump's place.
Oh, that's
you remember
right.
that?
He
It was so
sure
irresponsible.
did. Yes, he was all over that.
He was asked about it during an appearance on 60 Minutes, and this is how that went.
When you saw the photograph of the top secret documents laid out on the floor at Mar-a-Lago, what did you think to yourself, looking at that image?
how that could possibly happen, how anyone could be that irresponsible. And I thought, what data was in there that may compromise sources and methods? By that I mean names of people who helped, or et cetera. And it's just totally irresponsible.
I agree. Totally irresponsible. How could that happen? What sources could be compromised? I totally agree. Joe Biden has let the American people down.
Under the Presidential Records Act, all documents from a president's administration and staff must be turned over to the National Archives, but Biden was vice president at the time. But Biden can't declassify documents as vice president.
Yeah, and unless it is the nuke code or some super secret intelligence data, dude, whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden, whether it's whoever, people are moving stuff in and out of the White House, and it's not even always clear what is or is not classified. This whole thing has been a joke. Now, we're having fun with Biden because of the ridiculous way he and his administration have handled Trump. So we agree, or at least I'm speaking for myself here, I agree, none of this should be an issue, because in terms of the millions of documents that a president or a vice president or he's been a senator before that they come across, the idea that 100, or if it's Trump, if indeed it is 100, or it's a dozen if it's Biden or whatever, the idea that would end up somewhere else, duh, it happens to every single person who's been president, vice president, whatever. You're moving. When you're moving out, you're moving huge amounts of files, things get misplaced, whatever. But you don't get to say it's now not the world's biggest deal and there should be a special prosecutor appointed to investigate a crime, because that's exactly what you said should happen to Trump. And the FBI should raid his home and take a bunch of his boxes.
Well, if nothing else, this shows that there's a real problem with keeping track of these classified documents.
Right. It's the government.
Yeah.
It's the government. It doesn't matter whether it's the state government, the county government, the local government, the federal government. It's the government. Government, by design, is unaccountable because it isn't ultimately accountable to anyone. By the way, can I just also make a point? Can I make a point about how unaccountable a thing I'm experiencing right now, and how unaccountable government is because it's not their money and they don't care? We started last hour with the $21,000 of missing laptops, and the prosecutors are like, no, nothing's going to happen to anybody.
Right.
What I'm going through in my little town of Brownsburg, in which all I wanted to know is, hey, this town council, the three little piggies, took massive raises for themselves. I'm requesting the documents, the electronic documents related to their discussion. As a taxpayer, I want to know how my taxpayer money was being spent to determine that these guys gave themselves raises. I made that request over 3 weeks ago. I received no response until last week, where I finally sent multiple emails to the clerk treasurer and said, where are these documents? This is not a hard public records request. You know what I got, Casey? A letter, an email from the town legal staff saying, you will now correspond with us on this topic. So something that should have taken about 8 seconds. Here are the conversations. If indeed all the conversations were above board, here are the documents. Thank you. Have a nice day. We know you don't agree with this, but it happened and that's life. But instead, I get no response for 3 weeks. And then I get a letter or an email from the town legal staff. You'll now correspond with us. So now something that should have taken about 8 seconds and cost the taxpayers nothing, they're going to spend a bunch of taxpayer money because that legal department is not running a soup kitchen over there. You're going to pay a bunch of money because they're going to do everything they can to avoid me getting the documents, because those three little piggies that stuff their snouts know what they did. But my point is, this stuff happens everywhere. They are totally not on the taxpayer side because they're not accountable to anyone.
Does Biden even know that those documents were in that University of Pennsylvania
He
office?
doesn't even know documents exist anywhere because he doesn't know who he is or where he's at half the time.
Right. Does he remember taking them? Does he remember putting them there? Does he remember handing them off to somebody else and they locked them up?
Here's the point. If there's not malicious intent, like if Trump was selling documents to the Chinese or the Saudis or the North Koreans, okay, we got a big problem here. If Trump, if there was the nuclear codes or the high-level spy information. Okay, we got an issue here. By all accounts, there's none of that there. Even the Democrats have admitted he wasn't doing anything nefarious with the documents. The same way as I don't think Biden. Now, if Hunter got his hands on them, then who knows? But by all accounts, that wasn't also what was happening here. If there is no malicious intent and no one is being harmed, just get them back where they need to go and everybody go on about their day. But we don't get to do that now because they didn't do that with Trump.
Well, because it's politicized. That's why.
And at the crux of it all, and maybe we can talk about this when we come back, this conversation I had with somebody yesterday, it is because government is not accountable to anyone. Government doesn't fear anyone. And when people don't fear you and believe they're not going to be held accountable, they will do whatever they want to do.
Well, they're supposed to be accountable to the people that put them in office. And those 20 people that voted against McCarthy were trying to hold them accountable.
Yes. And that is the conversation I had with a conservative yesterday who I will not name, but it is a pretty influential person who's gotten a lot of people elected and done a lot of good for conservative causes back when Indiana used to pretend to be, Republicans used to pretend to be conservative. I had a long conversation with this guy yesterday about why people are not holding our elected officials accountable anymore. And I thought maybe we could talk about that.
All right. It's 10:15. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
And Indiana will win this ball game. It's a new year and a new hope in Bloomington. Mike Woodson and his Indiana Hoosiers battle for their first regular season Big Ten title since 2016.
Plays it up and score!
The Hoosiers take on Penn State tomorrow. John Herrick with the pregame at 7. Don Fisher with the tip-off at 8 on your home for IU basketball.
Here's Tamar for 3.
93 WIBC.
In 2023, if you're looking for a new church home or even a first church home, please consider checking out my friends at Life Church. We go see Pastor Micah Beckwith, friend of the show. Heard him earlier today up at the Noblesville campus. But Life Church has campuses all across central Indiana, including Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, in addition to Noblesville, and online services. Life Church would love the opportunity to meet and welcome you and your family. Learn more at their website, lifechurchin.com.
Winter heating bills got you down?
Save big with Peterman Brothers. Get a brand new furnace for less than $49 a month and no payments till spring.
Plus, for a limited time, we're including a free 15-year parts and labor warranty with all new systems.
We'll also install it next day, guaranteed. Or we'll give you $500.
See why Peterman was voted one of Indy's best and let our family take care of yours like no one else can.
Visit PetermanHVAC.com to schedule today.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Mr. Bellin, will you take the ceremonial shovel?
Thank you.
And dig into the symbolic dirt.
I hereby dedicate this building to myself.
That's the sound of the men working
I love
on the
that.
chain.
Did you do that?
Yep.
That's awesome.
That's what I'm getting paid for.
Yes, that's producer action right there. That's why he gets producer money.
It's Rodney Dangerfield from Back to School.
I love that. One of the most underrated movies of all time, Back to School, Rodney Dangerfield.
Triple Lindy.
He, if you've never seen it, go sprint out there immediately and watch it. And that's awesome.
Yeah, Sam Kinison is also hilarious in it, but I could not put that scene in this because there's too many cuss words.
Too many beeps, too much screaming. But that is awesome. That is one of the highlights of that movie. I hereby dedicate this building to myself.
You're doing good with the production elements, Kevin. Keep it up.
Thank you. I got to earn that producer money.
That's right. That's right. It is 19 minutes after 10, and this is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Now, Rob, you and I have a lot of conversations,
Yes.
and when our conversations come up, typically they're political in nature because that's what we do. We spend time on the radio talking about this. So many times it's just working stuff out, right? But when I leave you and I go hang out with friends, it may come up occasionally, but not every single time.
Right.
So when you have conversations with your friends,
That's all I do.
it's always political. It's always a hot take. There's, Are you ever normal?
No. We had this conversation earlier. I am like the tree in Shel Silverstein's The Giving Tree.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing left to give at this point. I have given it all to the cause, my limbs, my bark, my everything. I'm but a stump now for people to come sit on. And the modern version of sitting on is people call me and will want to discuss various political endeavors. Who was it that famously said, I have but one life. My only regret is I have but one life to give for my country. And my regret is I only have but one radio show to give to the people of Central Indiana. So no, the overwhelming majority of conversations I have are about this radio show or about politics in general.
So you had a conversation, was this last night with somebody?
Yes, somebody who, and our rule here, Casey, they remain nameless because I will not subject people who have a certain level of gravitas or influence to public shaming that they associate
being
with
associated
me
with you
in any shape, form, or fashion. But this person is very well thought of. Would probably be mortified if it was disclosed they publicly put to the public they associated with me. But very well thought of, has been very influential in once upon a time back when we used to do this, electing conservatives in Indiana, and influencing back when we used to do this, having conservative policy in Indiana. And this person called, and we were basically asking the question, like, how do we right the ship here in Indiana? And by right the ship, I mean a rapid turn by Indiana Republicans towards big government and the big taxes that come with it. And let's face it, the Republican Party in Indiana has done a phenomenal job over the past 10 years of axing out the conservatives, or if a conservative gets elected, immediately making it clear to them what will happen to them if they make any noise at all. And if you think about it, really, over the past 6-7 years, there's been a handful of reliably conservative people elected to State House, State Senate, or statewide office. One of them being Curtis Hill. We saw what happened, to him. And then you think about John Jacob and Kurt Nicely, and we saw what happened to them. And so they've made it very clear. And so this person was asking, when we were talking about how do we start getting reliably conservative people to get back into the game, and how do we get the people who are currently in the game to maneuver back towards reliably conservative policies? Like, you think about it, it was a decade ago that Indiana did right to work. That would never happen today in the modern Republican Party. It was, 15 years ago, Indiana did tax caps and then followed them up with constitutional amendments to put them in the Constitution. That would never happen in the modern Republican Party. And the bottom line I told him is, and I hate this, but I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore, because the things that used to work in terms of being able to move elected officials towards action and the public at large, and motivating the public at large to get involved, to motivate them to action, don't seem to work anymore. And it seems like there is a general apathy amongst the public that has enabled the elected officials not to fear the public anymore.
Right.
And I don't mean a physical fear of the public, but I mean a fear in the sense of, if you don't work for us, if you don't stand up for us, if you don't go to bat for us, we will punish you at the ballot box, and we will find people to run against you, and we will put somebody in there who will do that. Indiana Republicans used to be really good about doing that, and it doesn't happen anymore. And I told this guy, I said, I am here now. When I first came in, we always talk about Kevin's photo on the template that we have and how fresh-faced and bright-eyed and happy Kevin looks in that photo that was taken, what was that, 5-ish years ago?
I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, Kevin started his time here at WIBC, and now look at Kevin. Rugged, haggard, worn down by life because he has to work with me every day.
Yeah.
Point is, when I first came into this building, I was like, man, what an opportunity. We're going to talk about new things, and it's going to expose to people for the first time what's going on, and we're really going to change the way things operate. We're going to this and we're going to that. And while lots of people have been educated and motivated and have walked away from the Republican Party or vote differently or whatever, ultimately, we're not heard everywhere. And ultimately, as we saw in the last election, when you take voting outside of where we are heard, things aren't changing. And so now my deal here is I'm here to entertain two groups of people, myself and our audience, because you just get physically exhausted trying to say, how many times can I take your head and rub it in the wall? And yet you're still so afraid. And largely, a large part of that is the Democrats are so radically left that people just go, man, we can't do that. Yes, these guys are failures, but we can't do that. That at this point, you drive yourself silly if you just kept getting beat up over people not doing the things that they're supposed to be doing.
Well, I think you have had a lot of influence. You can take the property taxes, for example. You've been saying how you've been talking about that for a year. Well, now they're talking about it in the legislature. The gas tax, same thing. You were hammering on about that, and then people woke up about it. I think that there are leaders within the state. They don't know they're the leader until they have been told. So I think it's going to be our job to pick the people. We're going to let them know that we're nominating them.
Or you're going to pick someone.
We're going to pick somebody.
Just a rando.
Well, we can discuss it, but if we have the influence to get them talking about property taxes, then we should use this influence to tell these people that are our elected state reps that they're the leader, that they don't know it yet.
So we're just going to, like in the, what's the movie? The Lion King. We're going to take either a state rep or a state senator, and we are going to hold them up, and we are going to say, you are the person we are picking to be the leader because no one is leading.
No, exactly.
No one is leading. That's the issue, right? No one's leading. When you have private conversations sometimes with people, they'll tell you, yeah, you're right on that, blah, 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 blah.
What am I going to do about it?
Exactly. What is one poor man to do who's making $70,000 a year for a 3-month job?
Well, they just need to be told that they're going to be the leader. And we have faith and confidence in you and get it done.
Okay, so Casey has already started this process. I have told her every person that she is looking at on that state elected official website is a total loser, and we won't find that person there.
But we got to pick somebody.
She says we got to pick somebody.
Somebody's got to do it.
And she's basically thus far been picking the most handsome men and saying, what about that person? What about that person? I noticed no one over the age of 60 has been picked yet as somebody that she wants to hold up. The younger people who look good in suits.
But you know what? I mentioned a few people and you said, well, they've been there for about a minute.
Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe that's the change that's needed. Somebody who's not been beaten down by it over the years.
Well, I guess I didn't understand.
Somebody who has got a fresh perspective.
I didn't understand we had to pick somebody from the list of underachievers who are currently not doing anything.
Well, they're going to be there for a while, so we got to deal with the ones that are there.
Well, you know who I lift up every day at 10:30 to do the greatest newscast in the history of the world? It's Kurt Darling, and he's next.
Right, it's 93 WIBC.
Does runaway inflation and reckless spending in Washington have you worried about the security of your hard-earned retirement savings? If so, it's time to call the precious metals experts at Fisher Capital. Fisher Capital specializes in helping investors like you diversify their retirement portfolio and preserve wealth with physical gold and silver. Whether you're looking to acquire coins or bars, open a gold IRA, or just want to learn more about the advantages of owning precious metals, Fisher Capital will equip you with the knowledge to make an informed decision that's right for you and your family. Call Fisher Capital today at 800-376-4333. That's 800-376-4333. Mention WIBC when you call to get a free no-obligation investor kit. 800-376-4333. 800-376-4333. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Don't lose another night's sleep worrying about the security of your retirement savings. Call Fisher Capital. 800-376-4333.
The new year is here, Time for a change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand IT field with My Computer Career. In just months, already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus, and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
You may have had some too. It's partly cloudy and 40 degrees downtown. I'm Kurt Darling for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 10:30. You may remember how former President Trump's house in Florida was raided by the feds and classified documents were found. Documents that he may have, should not have had. Well, it seems that current President Joe Biden has some as well. His lawyers saying that the documents were found in November in a private office of Biden's. The discovery has some GOP lawmakers calling the president a hypocrite.
President Biden, when he was talking about former President Trump having classified documents, he called it irresponsible and unbelievable.
That's Senator James Lankford. Biden's attorneys say that they are cooperating with the feds. Colts GM Chris Ballard addressing the media soon. He's likely to be discussing the future of the team's head coaching position, temporarily held by Jeff Saturday to close out the season.
It's been a true honor to be able to represent this team these past 8 games.
Saturday says that he wants the job on a permanent basis, saying that there would be big changes made if he stays on. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds.
And we feel great.
Seminars January 19th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss 5:30, stop smoking 8 p.m. Or January 21st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss 11 a.m., stop smoking 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
I'm so sorry you have just reached my answering machine.
317-684-8444. That is the phone number if you'd like to contribute. We've got your voicemails with the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So all the phone calls today are related to the topic that we threw out late in the show yesterday, which was I had noticed it was Jimmy Page's 79th birthday. And I said, okay, in terms of if we're putting together our Mount Rushmore of guitar players, I think we can automatically agree Jimmy Page and Jimi Hendrix occupy 2 of the spots. And then I said, all right, let's open it up amongst the group for a discussion about the remaining 2.
Yeah.
We kind of had some form of consensus, Eric Clapton, although our boss, Matt Hiblin, was irate that we put Eric Clapton on the list.
He's just not a fan.
He was. Did you hear this? Kevin?
Went in there. Hear that. No.
He was livid. I went in there and he said Clapton is just so overrated and da-da-da. And I said, this is why you can't be on the show, Matt.
This is why you're not invited to participate.
So then we left one spot open, and we kind of narrowed it down to 4 or 5 names, and we said we will take audience input. As usual, most people didn't abide by the 4 or 5 names. Some people did. We definitely need to get our ears examined here between 9 and noon because we lay out the very specific rules of your phone call, and people don't abide by the rules. But the point is, what were the 4 standards we asked people to consider when they were calling in about who should fill out this Mount Rushmore of the final spot of greatest guitar players?
Talent, influence, commercial success, and innovation.
Okay, very good. Here is the other thing I would like to say before we start these phone calls.
Yeah.
All right. And we love that you listen. We love that you participate for whatever reason. Here's all I'm going to say about this, though.
Is this going to be a Mexican pizza conversation? It is, isn't it?
No, here's what I'm going to say. Yeah, well, sort of.
It is.
We flooded the phone bank with calls about the guitar player, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. I know everybody's passionate about music, but the fact that we are flooding with calls about the guitar player and not the property tax, and Matt and I had this conversation out in the lobby before the show, that is concerning to me that we can, and this happens all the time, where it's a Mexican pizza or a guitar player or whatever, and we get 30 phone calls, and then we're talking about, which the guitar player doesn't affect anyone, and then the thing that the government is taxing you to the point where people may be forced to flee their homes, and I can get like 3 phone calls. So what is going on here?
Well, you know what you need to do is you need to write a song about property taxes.
What am I, Adam Sandler? How am I going to do that? I don't know anything about music.
You can do it in the vein of Warren Zevon.
If I write the lyrics, will you play the music?
Yeah. We can do
perfect.
That.
There we go. All right. So anyway, all I'm saying is maybe next time we have as much passion vocally about like the taxation or the growth in government or the whatever as we do the guitar player. All right. First phone call. This is a phenomenal way for us to start out. As you know, hate mail goes straight to the front of the line, and I have an amazing gift of I can bring out the worst in people even when we're soliciting their opinion on guitar players.
Hey, Rob, nobody gives a damn about your list. Do something useful and talk more about property taxes. You're such an embarrassment.
Well, see, there you go. He wanted to talk about property taxes.
This is the hero we need. This is the guy that should be leading at the State House.
Well, exactly. Maybe that guy would like to call back at 317-684-8444 and tell us who he thinks he should be the leader of the State House.
This is the leader our state needs.
Not the majority whip, not the House, the floor leader, just anybody who's in there.
Yeah.
Who should just pick up the reins and just become the leader.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So now we get to the phone calls about the people who actually wanted to weigh in on the guitar player.
Hey, guys. Love the show. Your segment today talking about guitar players. Page, yes. Hendrix, yes. Not as number 1 and number 2, but as number 2 and number 3. Eddie Van Halen is by far the best guitar player that ever took a breath. Talk about innovative. They had to figure out a way to write music for the way he played. If that's not innovative, I don't know what is. And as far as number 4, it doesn't matter. Have a great day. Love the show, guys.
Fill out the list.
Well, we've got to vote for Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, I would say he's pretty innovative. He's reserved his spot in the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to go against Eddie Van Halen, and I kind of walked into this thinking that might be where the consensus is. All right, what's next?
Hi, Rob and Casey. Love the show. I listen to it every day and watch it on YouTube from Minnesota. I agree with your 3 for the Mount Rushmore guitarists. The obvious one that's missing, and I would place him at number 2, Duane Allman. He and Clapton created Layla. Enough said. See ya.
Is Duane Allman the one who did I'm No Angel, or was that another Allman? Kevin, can you look that up?
Are you thinking of, is he the same as Allman Brothers?
Yeah, right, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Which one of the ones that was the one that did I'm No Angel? I'm No Angel. If only there was... Greg Allman. Nope, not the same one, sorry.
Greg Allman.
Yeah, I was going to give him some props there, but...
Yeah, but you know what? They co-wrote that song, so I think he's already represented with Eric Clapton.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of a stretch too, and this is where people don't listen. We named out several names that were in our finalist list. It's like on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They give you the people you can vote for. Maybe you don't agree on the list. We all know Eminem shouldn't be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but there he was. You had an opportunity to vote for him. All right, what's next?
All right, I was just listening to your segment on the greatest guitarist, and Eddie Van Halen had to be on Mount Rushmore. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But you left out quite a few other guitarists that should have been in consideration. David Gilmour, Brian May, Prince, Steve Vai, Randy Rhoads, Angus Young, Joe Walsh, Alex Lifeson, and Joe Satriani are all ones that should be in consideration. But anywho, I'm definitely going with Eddie Van Halen. And by the way, U2 has 4 members and not 3. Anyways, have a good day.
Did we say U2 had 3 members?
Yeah, I think I was.
Did you mess that up?
Oh, yeah, that was probably me. Now, see, again, this is how our lawmakers should handle this.
Yeah.
When you make a mistake,
admit the mistake.
Just admit the mistake.
Apologize.
You own up.
Take
You
corrective
say, look,
action.
this was my fault. I think I did say that. I'm terribly sorry. That is beneath what someone of my position should have done. It doesn't matter what I was thinking. I made a mistake.
Now, he did bring up a couple that we had tossed around, Angus Young and David Gilmour. We had mentioned that maybe even off the air. They didn't make it to the final list for us. Joe Satriani, we didn't put him on the list.
For good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a virtuoso guitarist, and I don't think they count.
See, this is a guy, and this is the problem with this guy, and we spelled this out before we ended the show yesterday.
Right, he was adding.
You're adding and you're homering, whatever your view is. So by my view, Nils Lofgren would be on the list, lead guitar player for Neil Young and then the E Street Band. But I recognize as a fair arbiter of what is good and decent and accepted in the music industry, Nils Lofgren, not on most people's list. That guy needs to do better next time when he calls because he went into business for himself. All right, what's next?
Hi, Rob and Casey. Love the show. I listen to it every day and watch it on YouTube from Minnesota. I agree with your 3 for the Mount Rushmore.
Oh, I think that's the one we just played, Kevin.
Played that one, Kevin.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was so good we wanted to hear him again.
He's from Minnesota, so we like to hear
all of our
callers
fans
from other states. All right, here's one.
Hey, Rob and Casey, this is Scott. Hey, I was just listening to your show about the guitarist and the criteria you set to be included in the list. Wouldn't you almost have to include Chuck Berry on that list? Because didn't he kind of, really start the movement toward the electric guitar?
Yeah, I think we realized yesterday that we forgot him.
My dad was adamant that Chuck Berry should be on that list, and I thought maybe it was just because he's old. But then I realized when he started making his case to me that he was probably right on that.
Okay, well, he definitely gets the influence and innovation in there, but what about commercial success?
Well, so what? I mean, he had a bunch of songs that were very big, Go Johnny Go, Maybelline, My Ding-a-Ling, a handful of very, very successful songs, and Michael J. Fox, imitating him in Back to the Future alone probably does certainly lift him up in terms of the consideration field.
But we didn't, that was not one of the options
No,
that we
I know.
gave. So this guy's breaking the rules.
Well, I know. And that's why.
You think we missed out on that one? That was our fault.
The nominating committee probably made an egregious mistake. And, like in the Baseball Hall of Fame, there's a veterans committee that will let players who don't get in on the original ballots in later if they realize they've made a mistake. We might have to strongly consider either adding a 5th part of Mount Rushmore or a veterans committee of some sort to correct this. Because Chuck Berry, you're right. I don't know.
In defense of the nominating committee, we did not have a lot of time
to
prepare for this.
I really just literally saw that it was Jimmy Page's birthday, and I thought this will be a fun segment we'll get a bunch of calls on because I know our audience.
I will say, I feel like Chuck Berry influenced most of the rock and roll artists.
Yeah, that's
of
the thing.
The 60s
sort of
and 70s.
like everybody emanates from this guy in some shape, form, or fashion.
All right, we've got Hammer joining us in just a minute.
Wait. I think he's got another. Is there
you
another?
Got one more phone call?
I
was about ready to make a call on this.
No. I think we've got. Do we have another one?
Yeah, we got a couple.
Perfect.
If we can fit in one.
Let's just roll through them both real quick.
Okay.
Come on, guys. As far as great guitars goes, I don't know if you guys are just anti-metal. I don't know. Maybe these two guys died too soon. But Randy Rhoads,
how can you not mention Randy Rhoads? And then you got Dimebag Darrell, too. So, come on, don't be anti-metal, and don't just go with the popular, easy ones, the low-hanging fruit. Thank you, guys. Great show.
Our list came down to it was either Eddie Van Halen or some guy named Dimebag Darrell.
Yeah, that was the guy who was shot on stage. He was shot and killed while performing.
That in that guy's world, hey, screw that Van Halen or Edge. What about Dimebag Darrell?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest heavy metal guy myself.
See, again, it's a guy going into business for himself, and he's not thinking about the populace at large.
He broke the rules.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine that. And I'm the one who's always saying play the hits on this show. The bumper music.
But not metal.
Would know.
18, I mean, what, maybe 18 and Life to Go? Does that count as metal? That's pretty good. We could throw that one in
Does
there.
Metallica count as metal?
They used to.
Who is it? Kirk Hammett? Is that his name?
I think they're main
is there one more call?
Yep, here we go.
Yeah, you know, you guys talking about rock and roll guitarists. There's all kinds of guitarists out here, you know, to play. It don't have to be rock and roll, but, you know, Gary, I forget what his last name is, that played on REO Speedwagon, if you want to know a good guitarist.
Rich Route.
He was good, and, you know, I like Chuck Berry, you know. He's a good guitarist, too, I think. It all depends how you look at it. It's rock and roll. Chuck Berry got it all started, I think. But anyway, you know, and there's some really good country guitarists, and there's some really good bluegrass guitars, too. You know, the acoustic guitar, these guys just hammering it. It's hard to play. I can play a guitar, and it's hard to play a acoustic guitar a whole lot harder than it is to play an electric guitar.
Well, that goes back to the rules of influence and commercial success.
That guy picked himself.
Yeah.
Well, for that matter, I mean, we could have put Waylon and Willie on the list.
You could have put a whole bunch of people.
could've.
I mean, you could have put Dan Fogelberg up there.
No, you could not have. You might have.
He
Nobody
just said
else.
acoustic guitar is harder than electric guitar.
I don't know if that's true.
Okay, I've totally lost interest in this topic now. Who are you picking?
I'm going with Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
I would put Chuck Berry in there.
No, Kevin, we made the decision. I made the call. I said Eddie Van Halen.
It's half our
Case
show.
is closed. Don't come at me anymore with
Fair
this.
enough, fair
It's
enough.
Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Big Hammer and Nigel show today, 3 to 7. The latest on what's happening with Washington, and it's a big week for the Delphi trial. 93 WIBC.
Home shows provide homeowners the deepest discounts of the year on remodeling projects. And right now, Window Nation is bringing the home show savings right into your house. 2 free windows with every 2 you buy, no limit. Plus, pay no interest for 60 months.
Use their free virtual visualizer at windownation.com/home show. Upload a picture of your house and try out hundreds of options online. Get design tips from the experts and learn how Window Nation's trained installation specialists have helped over 150,000 homes with over 96% customer satisfaction rates. But remember, these once-a-year home show savings are for a very limited time. Call Window Nation today, 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com/home show. Get 2 windows free with every 2 that you buy. Pay no interest for 60 months. That's 5 full years. 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com/home show.
World-changing question. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? High taxes can erode returns quickly, so you need a tax-optimized portfolio. At Creative Planning, our money managers and specialists work together to make sure your portfolio and wealth are managed in a tax-efficient manner. It's what you keep that really matters. Why not give your wealth a second look? Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Seminars Thursday, January 19th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, January 21st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion. Trust me, I know about joint pain.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher, Emmitt Smith, talks about chronic joint pain and exciting new regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics.
I know what it's like to fight through pain, but now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced, all-natural regenerative medicine that can give you lasting relief with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Do you suffer with constant pain from arthritis or injury? Pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or lower back? Don't assume steroids, pain meds, and surgery are your only options. Regenerative, restorative, natural solutions are now available.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love.
Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation and learn how regenerative medicine can repair and restore damaged joint tissue.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
I'd rather be folding laundry.
This is gonna be fun.
Said no one ever. Also, no one enjoys wasting time in traffic. That's why we love saving you time. Matt Baird Traffic on 93 WIBC.
I really love you, baby.
Good morning. It is 10:51. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and Hammer's joining us in the studio. And you like to have your face melted off with freedom, don't you?
Hey, man, is that Freedom Rock? Yeah, man. Well, turn it up. Oh, one of the great commercials of all time right there.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a discussion over the weekend about the national anthem. The guy that played the national anthem before the Jacksonville Jags Tennessee Titans game on Saturday was like local Florida musician. Like, and he goes out there and he's got like a skullet, you know, he's kind of losing his hair, but he's got a mullet, and he's just total Jacksonville, Florida man.
Sunglasses on.
And I thought he did a rockin' version of the national anthem on the electric guitar. So we asked on social media, do you like a rockin' version of the national anthem? Right. Like shredded on the guitar? Because I love it. I think it's fantastic. And some people don't care for that.
Oh.
There's a number of people who said the national anthem should have lyrics. It should be sang with pride and things like that. I am on the other side here. I think as long as it's meant to be respectful, you can rock the anthem. Like, I've seen Carlos Santana and his wife before the NBA Finals with Golden State, because I think he lives out there. They've done a rockin' version of the anthem. The guys from Metallica, Hatfield and Hammock, they've done a rockin' version of the anthem before. And of course, Jimi Hendrix, I think, is the gold standard of electric guitar national anthem. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, you can be respectful in a variety of different ways, and I think a big part of that is your intent to be respectful. Like when Roseanne Barr went out and sang the national anthem, there's no intent to be respectful. She was a clown and it was disgusting. But if you're attempting to pay homage to the country, yeah, it doesn't have to be some...
And the crowd was feeling it, man.
Singing.
Like, they were cheering and, like, the fireworks were shooting off, and it was awesome.
Where are you at? Who should we have put on the... we ultimately decided Eddie Van Halen. Who should we have picked as our fourth member of the Mount Rushmore guitar players?
I'm going to vote present and defer my vote to the representative of Liston.
Okay, Victoria Sparks. Nice to see you.
Big Nige is the rock guy, right? So if you're talking about 90s rappers on Mount Rushmore, let me know. But for this discussion, you'd have to have Nige come in here.
Hey, it's your wife's birthday.
It is. The crazy coupon lady. She's got a birthday today. Crystal Hammer.
29 years old.
Yes, 29 years old. That's what we're going to go with.
How did you meet the crazy coupon lady?
Through friends. just friends and partying and debauchery.
I thought maybe like you went because she was a flag girl at Tennessee, right?
Right, which just happened to be an amazing coincidence.
Oh, because I thought maybe you were at a Vols game and she ran out on the field and it was like in Wayne's World where Dreamweaver starts playing and the light is on.
Yeah, she used to be one of those girls that would run on the field as holding the flags and stuff before the football games, and she's got great stories because that was the championship year of '98.
Yeah. T. Martin,
not Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
It was T. Martin, who often gets left out of the story. But yes, happy birthday to the crazy coupon lady.
I love it how you wished her a happy birthday on Twitter, and then you kind of made it about you.
Well,
saying how
be
she
honest.
won the jackpot by marrying you.
Let's be honest. There's $1 billion on the line with the Mega Millions tonight. Crystal doesn't have to play.
Yeah, she's already won.
She's already won the lottery, being married to me.
Do you do anything special at this point? You guys, I know, are not big like event doers. You like to save your money and
Flowers
go on
and
vacation.
candy
Do you
and-
do anything for your wife on her birthday?
Well, tonight, she'll be taking Jacob to skateboarding.
Oh, how
I'll be
exciting.
taking Chris to his baseball workout later on tonight. And then we're going to come home and go to bed.
Wow.
So,
I think
no.
that was a no.
No, we're not those people. And thank God my wife is not one of these girls.
Yeah, she wouldn't make it with you.
Like, I have to have something for my birthday. What are you going to get me for Christmas and my birthday? We're not those people. We will go on vacation when we can. We'll celebrate our stuff when we can. Man, we got life going on. We got kids and things to do.
and stoves being delivered.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey,
Did you get your stove?
Shout out to the guy that delivered the stove from Menards today. We had to get a new range top, whatever it's called.
You're doing very well. I'm glad you could afford a new stove. Rob Kendall's still cooking by fire.
The guy's bringing it in, and the first thing he said to me, clearly, I think he knew who I was. How much did you make on Georgia last night?
Yeah.
So my man hooked it up from Menards today.
You
Shout
were
out.
right on that game. Holy moly. I mean, it was like Georgia was playing a high school team.
And how sick are you if you're an Ohio State fan? Because you had Georgia beat.
Yeah, right.
Like, Ohio State would have rolled over TCU as well. And it's weird because Michigan beat up on Ohio State and lost to TCU.
I lost $2 on that game last night, and I was a little dejected because you know how I am with money. Then I realized Mattress Mac lost $3 million.
I think he's going to be all right,
Yeah,
though.
what's coming up this afternoon?
Tuesdays with Tony. Tony Katz will join us, and the latest from the State House.
All right. Thank you, Hammer. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
What I love about working at Shane Company is that there's always something new going on. New things to look at, new jewelry for you to try on, new offerings. In addition to our great selection of natural diamonds, we recently brought in lab-grown diamonds. A lab-grown diamond has all the same properties as a natural diamond. It's a real diamond, just as beautiful, and made in a lab. You can't tell the difference. I invite you to come in and see for yourself. At Shane Company, you can compare two diamonds side by side and decide what's right for you. We offer the largest selection of natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds. Choose from 10 beautiful shapes in a wide range of sizes, all hand-selected by our diamond experts for quality, beauty, and sparkle. Whether you choose a natural diamond or a lab-grown diamond, you can be sure it'll be absolutely gorgeous. So visit us today. We can't wait to show you what's new.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and Shaneco.com.
Turn to the experts at Howald Heating and Carrier for all your heating needs. Howald Heating, Air, and Plumbing, where coming home never felt so good. Online at HowaldHeatingandAir.com.
Hey, it's Rob. After years of struggling with thinning hair, I was ready to grow my hair back. That's why I went to We Grow Hair Indy. Here's Darren Andrews to tell you more.
For over 20 years, we've been restoring hair for men and women with every type of hair loss and every ethnicity. No matter the reason for your hair loss, we're here to help. And our friend Rajiv Ram, two-time Olympian and tennis professional, can attest to this.
I wanted more hair, and they have the best technology there is for it. We Grow Hair Indy cared about me and did exactly what they said they would. The results have been amazing.
With We Grow Hair Indy's trademarked multi-unit hair grafting, I got more hair with a single procedure. People tell me all the time how great my hair looks, and yours can too. Call now for your free evaluation and grow your hair back. Call 888-724-5129. That's 888-724-5129. Or go to WeGrowHairIndy.com, the gold standard in hair restoration.
It's Jesse Kelly here. I can't afford to lose 30% of my 401k or IRA again, and I'm assuming you can't either. Call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today to learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan. 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD.
Coming up in 2 minutes, who takes the blame for the Colts' horrendous season? Plus a big speech tonight from Governor Eric Holcomb. That and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios on 93 WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
Too much water. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That is the problem in much of California, especially Montecito.
It sounded like an explosion. It sounded like the entire mountain was coming down.
He is describing a mudslide in Studio City.
You have basically 34 million people under a flood watch. 90% of the state.
Fox's William Lajeunesse is in Los Angeles, where it poured rain with more forecast.
Last night was as hard as I've ever seen it. You move up the coast of Santa Barbara, you mentioned Montecito, right? They are under evacuation orders. They have very steep terrain there, so you're getting a lot of mudslides, a lot of rock slides in the canyons. Again, as I come up to the 101 today. You go up to the Central Coast, more flooding there. A woman tried to cross in these washed out roads. She was rescued but lost her 5-year-old child who was swept away in the water.
The storms are blamed for at least 14 deaths in California. President Biden is in Mexico for day 2 of a summit. Illegal immigration on the agenda.
Finalizing and implementing the plan to address root causes, announcing an app to give migrants information on legal pathways, countering discrimination by, quote, balancing public narratives on migrants and refugees. And as far as drugs go, the plan is to resume the dialogue to improve cooperation against labor and sexual trafficking and strengthen public health approaches to substance use.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich in Mexico City. At the summit yesterday, the president ignored questions about classified documents found in a Washington think tank office he used for a few years after he was vice president and before he was elected in 2020, prompting Republican Congressman Michael Waltz to ask,
how long have they been sitting around? Who had access all of this time? How many people had access?
The White House says Biden attorneys found the documents November 2nd, and they were handed over to the National Archives. Former President Trump asked on social media if the FBI will raid Biden's homes in the White House, referencing the FBI seizing classified materials from his Florida resort. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He says it's on him. It's mostly cloudy and 41 degrees downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Indianapolis Colts general manager Chris Ballard putting it bluntly.
Look, I failed. I'm not going to sit up here and make excuses.
In his end-of-season press conference this morning,
disappointed where we're at, and ultimately, it falls on my shoulders.
He says he made some mistakes this past year, but he believes that he can learn from those mistakes. Ballard says that he will be leading the search for a new head coach. Republicans and Democrats in the state legislature are somewhat on the same page when it comes to funding schools over the next 2 years. They are in agreement about eliminating school textbook fees. House Speaker Todd Houston.
We'll look at what opportunities there are to do that and how we give parents and the flexibility to use those dollars to get the curriculum materials they need for their kids.
However, Democrats also want a universal pre-K system throughout the state. Republicans seem intrigued by that, but feel getting teachers paid is a higher education priority. Governor Holcomb expected to highlight education and other priorities for the General Assembly in his State of the State, which is going to be tonight at 7 o'clock. You can hear it right here on 93 WIBC. 5 people had to be rescued from an apartment fire on the east side late last night. It was near 30th and Post, where firefighters arrived to find a small fire on a couch inside one of the units. They put it out quickly and then started looking for people inside.
Within that time of the primary search, that they located 5 victims inside this structure. All of the victims were unconscious. All of the victims required CPR.
IFD Battalion Chief Rita Wright. They were an adult and 4 kids. Even though Purdue's partnership with IU is ending soon on the IUPUI campus at Indy, new Purdue president Mung Chang says Purdue is not leaving Indy.
Our goal is very simple, that Purdue University will invest in, partners with, and help to together grow the tech scene in our capital city.
He tells Inside Indiana Business their buildings in Indy will serve as an extension of the West Lafayette campus. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, above your eyes, below your eyes, sinus headaches. You've gone to the doctor, you've visited urgent care over and over again, and it's always the same thing. I know. Let's try antibiotics and nasal sprays. But the sinus infections keep coming back. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty. Imagine the relief of not having to deal with your sinus infections anymore. Set an appointment today with Indianapolis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, January 10th. It is 6 minutes after 11, and you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Let's talk about President Biden's visit to the border. He visited the U.S.-Mexico border on Sunday. It was for the first time as president, and he didn't appear to meet with any migrants, including a trip to a migrant center. He spent several hours in El Paso in his first visit to the border as president. Yes, he went there on a Sunday, and yes, it was a photo op, but somewhat uneventful.
So this is fascinating because this is an example, and you see this all the time with people in positions of power where they don't own reality because owning reality would put them in a position of weakness, but owning reality is essential to fixing the problem. And what I mean by that is Parker, who will be our producer next week, Kevin is training him, told me that Chris Ballard. Greg Ballard was the former mayor of Indianapolis. Hello, Mayor Ballard, who I know he listens to the show. Chris Ballard had his press conference, the GM for the Colts. And it's basically like, he was reading me some of the quotes from this guy, and it's basically like fantasy delusion world where we think Matt Ryan still has some quarterbacking left in him. What, for a geriatric team and a senior citizen home? We think this team can still be good. We think this team can still win. I think he said something to the effect like, I fired myself 50 times this year. Well, you're still getting a big old fat check. The point is, the Colts are, we all know. Everybody knows the Colts are a train wreck. Everybody knows that when you've got $20 million in a generational guard who can't block anybody, and you've got $20 million in a linebacker who doesn't play, and you've got a quarterback who's 193 years old and can't throw the ball 10 yards down the field. It's time to start over, right? Like you got to, but for Chris Ballard to say this team has failed epically, it is time to scrap and start over, that would be an indictment on him and say, you got to go too, because for 7 years or whatever it's been, you've been calling the shots around here. So you're not going to fix the Colts until the Colts acknowledge, this is a problem. This is a huge train wreck, and this entire franchise needs to be burned to the ground and built back up. Same thing happening here. Until you stick the problem in Biden's face, and Biden is willing to say, look, here is the problem. Yes, this is happening. You don't even have to take blame that it's all your fault. You can blame whoever. But until we accept from the guy in charge, this is the problem's never going to be fixed.
El Paso was clean. The streets were clean. By the way, he was walking along the border wall that he did not like. Trump's wall. that he was going to take down and quit funding. But there he was walking alongside it. So this Biden spokesperson says that Biden did get a good idea of what's really happening, Rob. It wasn't watered down. Nothing was spruced up for him.
You know, there's been talk that whether it was those loyal to the president or outside forces, everything was spruced up for him, where there were migrants and encampments and the rest. They all disappeared for his visit. Do you know anything about that or who cleaned things up?
No, I wouldn't be able to talk about any kind of preparations that were made. I mean, the president came away from his trip to El Paso really feeling like he got a good sense of the need, that he had a chance to have honest, frank, candid, forthright conversations with everyone involved with the challenges down there. And he's going to be using the information he got and the context he got in El Paso to inform his discussions here in Mexico City. So he felt it was very well worth the time and the effort, and he's grateful for everybody that were able to make that visit possible.
So you don't think he had a sanitized version of it? No migrants, no sign of some of the craziness and bedlam that agents have been dealing with prior, and now even since his visit?
No, the president felt like he got a very good set of briefings and discussions, very honest, very candid feedback from all those that are working this problem. No, he's very confident that the trip was provided him the context and the information that he was looking for.
What context did he receive? He could have had those briefings in the White House. He probably has had those briefings in the White House. The context that he received is it's hot in Texas. It's bigger in the Lone Star State. I mean, what did he get out of that?
Nothing, right? I mean, it is a photo op, and it was an ability to say, I have been to the border. It was an ability to take away that now you can no longer say, in Biden's 50 years in public office, now I guess we say he's been to the border one time. He didn't learn anything. It was a pointless trip. And this is what happens in politics. It's like Republicans in the House are going to vote on abolishing the IRS and eliminating the income tax.
They can say they've done that.
Right. They have no intent to actually do it because they know it won't pass the Senate. Not that long ago, Republicans had all branches of government under Trump. Why didn't you do it then if you really wanted it to pass? We're just in this country going through the exercise. We're just doing the things to say we've done them. We're not actually about enacting change.
People are clamoring that Biden's never been to the border. Okay, I guess I'll go down to the border, and now you've seen me at the border. Let's try and make sense of his immigration policy. It's confusing, full of contradictions. He makes his first visit to the border as president on a Sunday, but didn't see any migrants. His expanding Trump's border policy, Title 42, even though he says he doesn't like it. He asked courts to end the Trump-era policy with no workable plan in the future. Traveling to Mexico City for a summit with North American leaders, but they're making it clear that they're really not anticipating any progress. So what's the point of that? And he watches on as Governor Greg Abbott of Texas just freelances his own border security, but then they tell the one in Arizona that container wall has to come down. He doesn't have a plan, doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't even know where he is half the time. He was caught on camera mistaking a Salvation Army guy for Secret Service.
Yeah, so this was great. We can't play it because the audio it was far away from Biden, but a hot mic picked it up, but it's not good enough that you can hear it. You're right. The dude is so delusional that the Salvation Army is down there. We all know that we raise money for Salvation Army every year. We know how they help poor people or people down on their luck or people trying to rebuild their lives, etc. We all know the great work they do. He walks up to some Salvation Army guy and starts conversing with him about as though he is a member of the Secret Service.
He said, I spent some time with the Secret Service in Poland and Ukraine, talking to someone from the Salvation Army.
So the Biden spokesman, John Kirby, was on Cavuto, and Cavuto actually had another guest I thought was interesting yesterday, a guy named Bob Good, who he's a U.S. rep from Virginia. And here's the thing we're going to find out about the Republicans again real soon. We're going to find out this stuff with the IRS and the income tax abolishment, that's not real. That's never going to pass. And I care about what they do and how they operate in the things they can impact. And areas they're going to be able to impact are defense spending, because the Republicans are great at cutting the government that doesn't, that they don't like or that their donors and lobbyists don't want. But when it comes to military, and there's no way you're going to tell me, God bless people who serve in our military, you're heroic and incredible people. But the military is a collective. There's no way you're not going to tell me that there is not billions upon billions of dollars of flat out waste and giveaways in the military. We'll see. Are they going to cut there? That's how we'll find out if they're serious. We'll find out what the debt ceiling. What are you willing to hold up to get concessions on the debt ceiling? And Bob Good says everything should be cut. I'll believe that when I see it.
Well, we absolutely ought to eliminate all funding from government that has to deal with climate extremism, that has to deal with CRT and radical ideology, transgender ideology, including in defense. Okay. Absolutely. And we've run against that, Neil, and the American people have trusted us now with the majority. And that said, we want to focus on military readiness and military effectiveness, but even the military shouldn't get a blank check where they're not held accountable for how they spend taxpayer resources. We can't be spending money based on a loyalty to the military-industrial complex or to lobbyists or to special interests or based on whose district is getting those funding projects. It's all has to be about having the most effective fighting and killing machine that keeps America safe, and anything beyond that should be eliminated.
So this is a guy, he was one of the holdouts for McCarthy. He voted present the whole time. He tweeted out, "We must come together as Republicans to fight the radical Democratic agenda and get our country back on track." Okay, so if spending bills for the next year are capped at 22 levels, it would slice off $130 billion off the top. And Kay Granger from Texas, she said that we need to cut wasteful spending while maintaining our national security priorities. And isn't that what we all want? We all want a secure nation, but we're sick of the wasteful spending. Build roads, have good defense. Other than that, leave us alone.
Yeah, but what just happened? And you see this time and again. Republicans roll over on these defense spending bills that get bloated, that go up every year. There's no accountability. They all do it because that is the sacred trophy for Republicans, and they don't insist on accountability inside the spending bill. We'll find out. Again, these IRS votes and these abolish income tax votes, they mean nothing. You should laugh at that because they know there's no chance it's ever going to pass. Abolishing those 87,000 IRS agents, laugh at that. Those people are clowns. We'll find out on the debt ceiling vote because Republicans can get about whatever they want because they hold the cards on raising the debt ceiling. If they don't fight for this stuff there, you'll know they're not serious. Right. And newsflash, they're not serious. We'll see with defense spending. Newsflash, they're not serious. They lie, manipulate, and use you. We'll find out real soon.
Makes a good tweet, makes you look really good in the moment, but it's really not effective and going to do much. It is 16 minutes after 11. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC.
The legislative session gets underway in Indiana.
It's time to reinvest in our schools.
Lawmakers have education as a top priority. Universal pre-K system.
Hear the news.
The president, who caused the chaos of the border, that they need a lot of resources and we're going to get them for them. These 2 years at about $20 billion too late.
On air.
In electing a speaker.
Online.
The Honorable Kevin McCarthy.
And on Alexa.
Speaker of the House.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
You don't have to live in Indiana too long to know that winter means cold. Crazy cold. And winter can be hard on the siding of your home. You got to make sure your siding doesn't have any cracks or breaks because those cracks can cause leaks and water damage can cost you a lot of money. Do not be worried. Moss Roofing is here to help. From inspections to full replacements, they have plans to fit any budget. Just ask about their payment options. Moss Roofing uses James Hardy siding. It's low maintenance, comes painted, and you get money back when you sell your home because it increases the value of your home. If you're in need of siding help, Moss Roofing is the contractor for you. Contact Moss Roofing at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com or call 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-747-3665 or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com.
Hi, this is Denny Smith. Have you been putting up with water issues at your home? How about taking advantage of $100 off a water tune-up from C&J Water? Well water or city water, you need to stay on top of your water quality, and C&J can do a performance check on your softener and filter, a water analysis, a sediment filter change, a resin refresh, and a couple of bags of salt. Preventive maintenance on your water system works. C&J, they're local, they're exceptional, they're affordable. 317-733-SOFT or cnjwater.com.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
That guy's brain is a bag full of cats. You could smell crazy on him.
And Casey Daniels.
If she were a president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln.
On 93 WIBC.
Church full of singing.
Yeah.
Out of tune.
I don't know this one.
Yeah, just let it go. It's fine.
Okay.
Everyone's gone to the moon.
Oh.
Should I do a little disc jockey for this?
Yes.
It's a little Chad and Jeremy starting your Tuesday afternoon.
See, I would have air checked you right away on that, Rob, because you don't say a little bit of.
What?
We only get a little bit of it. We don't get the whole song.
He's not playing the whole song.
True.
I don't think Chad and Jeremy would be too pleased with that.
20 minutes after 11. He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels.
Question for you before you get into this topic, because you were a boss of the music industry.
Yeah.
Did you allow your disc jockeys to stop the music to talk, or was it just continually from one song to the next?
No, we don't stop the music.
I mean, like you would.
Like Rihanna said, don't stop the music.
So you just got to hit the post, and whatever you can say in 20 seconds.
Well,
that was what you had.
Could talk down the end of one song and up the beginning of the other.
Yeah, that's super awkward.
Really? Why?
Yeah, why would you stifle creativity like that? I mean, let's face it, in modern radio, the disc jockey is the only thing we have left.
Well, on music radio stations, people are there for the music.
Because we stifle creativity.
Okay. You want to talk about this book deal?
No, that's fine. She's getting angry at me. She's clicking that pen. Did you hear that? There was some violence in that. Yeah.
Paying you to play the hits, not to talk.
True story. My first full-time job in radio was I was an overnight guy at the classic rock station here in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
101.9. 101.9. See what I did there? And I think some of the best radio I did was as an overnight disc jockey, because you could do whatever you wanted.
Right. Nobody was listening.
As long as the owner wasn't awake. It was your little oyster.
Yeah, they put you on the overnight so you could work it out.
And if you screwed up...
like a comedian who goes to the small club to work out the routine before they hit the big time.
I go back and listen to some of those air checks that I've still got, and at 21 years old, I was doing things that makes the 39-year-old version of me chuckle, because if you screw up, some guy in a factory is the only guy listening. So what did you really...
Did you keep it light, tight, and bright?
I don't know what that means.
That's the lingo.
Light, tight, and bright. Back to the hits. Okay, so let's talk about the... You know what? Actually, that's what I used to tell people all the time. Back to the hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play that vanilla ice cream. Let's play as much vanilla ice cream as we possibly can. Thanks for ruining music. Thanks for ruining radio.
When I went down to Tallahassee, and it was a country station, and they weren't playing the hits often enough.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I did. Get back to the hits.
The
ratings shot up.
Well, yeah.
People want to hear the songs they know and love.
Hey, look, if you want to feel fine selling your musical integrity for a couple points, then that's on you. I can't affect that. I will say the station I worked at had an IHOP right next to the radio station.
Did you put on a really long song, get a stack of cakes?
If you had funeral for a friend or something of that nature, you could get if you called your order in advance, you could run over to the IHOP, pay for your order, and then get back, and you would be into the Love Lies Bleeding portion of Funeral for a Friend, and nobody'd be the wiser.
So I worked at a classic rock station in Detroit, and I always had to work over the holidays. And Thanksgiving morning, it was always the gift when you got to play Alice's Restaurant, because Or like Terrapin Station from
Yes.
the Grateful Dead, because it's a nice 15-minute
That's a good
song.
one.
Alice's Restaurant was Arlo Guthrie, correct?
Yeah.
Also performed The City of New Orleans, which was written by famous Chicago blues singer Steve Goodman. There you go. Now back to your, sorry. I totally did not mean to drop off on that. I'm terribly sorry. Something about a book? What's going on?
Yeah, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson has just secured a major book deal from Random House.
Well, secured a book deal? She just got there.
Yeah, the book.
What's she going to write about?
Well, the book is called Lovely One, which is quite contrast to what her colleague Amy Coney Barrett received. Because do you remember Barrett had a book out and it was opposed by publishers and editors.
Yeah.
50 people wrote this list, this letter saying how she was non grata. She was persona non grata.
Right.
They wanted to prevent readers from reading it. So how come one is, lovely one, and let's all read this book, and then the other justice has a book and it is tampered down?
I believe the word you're looking for is 5 words. She is a radical leftist.
Oh, okay.
I think that we answer our question. Here is let's talk about this, though. Where are we at on sitting Supreme Court justices
writing books,
being able to capitalize on government service or government employees in general? I'm talking elected officials being able to capitalize on their power and their influence, right? I mean, it's like Bernie Sanders making $1 gajillion. These Supreme Court justices, regardless of whether they're constitutionalists or not, making big money writing books. Isn't part of the dealio that when you go into public service, you accept, I'm going to make I'm going to make certain sacrifices for myself and my family, but I so believe in the cause and I so believe in better government and I so believe in public service that I am willing to endure those sacrifices. Well, it just seems like there is no sacrifice anymore. The only service that is being done here is self-service.
So Jackson's life story, she's going to receive an advance of $1 million. But
what has she done? She's done nothing. She's on the Supreme Court. She's never.
Well, I'm sure it's the story about her rise to the Supreme Court. You know, how she got there.
Really?
And somebody
Who
will
would
find
read that?
Somebody who agrees with her ideology?
I said the same thing about like Amy.
Somebody else who doesn't know what a woman is?
But I'm saying the same thing though about like Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah.
Who are the people? Let's face it, being a judge should be a pretty boring job, right? I mean, you are appointed by a president, and then that's it. You're not in the situation room.
Right.
You're not declaring war. You're not, you're a judge. Your job is to interpret the law, and yet these people, who are the 9 most powerful people in the country when you get right down to it, are making gargantuan amounts of money.
Well, I'm sure there are lawyer types out there who would be enthralled to find out how they came to certain decisions. And that's who the audience is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think there is a really slippery slope when whether it's senators or House members or Supreme Court justices who are people who have to make, in many cases, literally life or death decisions and have entire economies or power and influence at their disposal are getting huge checks from private for-profit entities. I think that is a really slippery slope. And I really think it should be totally banned. Look, you want to be a senator, you want to be a congressman, you want to be a Supreme Court justice, you want to be president, great. There is honor in that, and the honor in that far outweighs whatever sacrifice you would have to make.
$1 million advance.
You should be banned from all outside money if you get into the House or the Senate or the presidency or the Supreme Court in any shape, form, or fashion while you're there.
Yeah. We've got Micah Beckwith is going to join us next. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Does runaway inflation and reckless spending in Washington have you worried about the security of your hard-earned retirement savings? If so, it's time to call the precious metals experts at Fisher Capital. Fisher Capital specializes in helping investors like you diversify their retirement portfolio and preserve wealth with physical gold and silver. Whether you're looking to acquire coins or bars, open a gold IRA, or just want to learn more about the advantages of owning precious metals, Fisher Capital will equip you with the knowledge to make an informed decision that's right for you and your family. Call Fisher Capital today at 800-376-4333. That's 800 800-376-4333. Mention WIBC when you call to get a free no-obligation investor kit. 800-376-4333. 800-376-4333. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Don't lose another night's sleep worrying about the security of your retirement savings. Call Fisher Capital. 800-376-4333.
Hey, it's Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. It's our 96th annual New Year's sale. Save 50% plus 24 months interest-free financing on all Lazy Boy and Indiana-made Smith Brothers of Bern. Plus, take an extra 10% off for cash. Queen Tempur-Pedic mattresses start at $50 per month. Sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus with free delivery.
Fellas, need an annual health exam for work or just want to start the year prioritizing your health? We recommend Low T Center to get your complete health assessment. They check all your levels, not just your testosterone.
It's typically covered by most health insurance, and if you don't have insurance, it's less than $100 for full labs and an office visit with the provider. Low T Center specializes in men's health, making it quick and easy. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
2023's here, and does your home have a New Year's resolution? Well, if it's like mine, it could probably use a fresh beginning and a professional clean. In my book, there's nobody better than the professionals at Zero Res. They're my go-to team for cleaning carpets, hardwood floors, ceramic tile and grout, and even area rugs to give it that smart, lasting clean. They always have our place looking its best, and Zero Res is the only company I trust to clean my home. Their proprietary technology cleans your carpets without flooding the carpet padding. That means I can have my house looking its best with dry carpets in just a few hours, not days. Their team of knowledgeable technicians always walk me through the entire carpet cleaning process to make sure I'm completely satisfied before they leave. So start your 2023 off right and give Zero Res a call today to make an appointment. Right now, when you mention WIBC, you get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $139. Call 388-5141 or schedule your appointment at ZeroResIndy.com with promo code ZeroRes1 and treat yourself to a smarter, lasting clean.
Living tobacco-free is important to a healthy lifestyle. Make this your opportunity to break free.
Are you ready to quit?
Quit Now Indiana is now offering a new customizable quit plan called Pick Quit.
Pick Quit allows you to choose from a variety of tools that work best for your quit journey.
Pick Quit is a better way to break free from tobacco.
Get the help you need.
No lectures.
No pressure.
Just free help.
Go to quitnowindiana.com today.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He blames himself. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Colts GM Chris Ballard on their 4-12-1 season.
Look, I failed. I'm not going to sit up here and make excuses.
He says he'll learn from his mistakes as he'll lead the search for a new head coach. The Colts have already asked permission to interview a handful of candidates. The Biden administration rolling out new measures to stop migrants from crowding at the southern border. He's expected to announce them at the North American Leaders Summit today. House Republicans say legislation to cut funding to the IRS is about empowering taxpayers.
As someone who spent over a decade in public accounting and also started my own businesses, I never felt that we don't have enough government. On the contrary.
Indiana Congresswoman Victoria Spartz, who says the bill will slash billions in wasteful spending. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Amen. Amen.
It's time to go to church. Here to preach to the choir from the bully pulpit, Pastor Micah Beckwith.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob Casey's here. Let's go to the drivehubler.com hotline. Say hello to our good friend, Pastor Micah Beckwith. All right, Beckwith, you went to the big opening day at the State House yesterday. 150 people waltzed in there claiming to work on our behalf. Not one of them said nothing publicly about property taxes. Why do your Republican friends love the property taxes so much?
Well, I don't think it's that they love the property taxes. What I've said is they are telling me that they're doing something about it. So there is a
what?
Now, I don't know
what are they doing?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know, but here's what I would say. Here's what I would say. Give them a chance, and then if they don't get this problem under control in the next couple months, because praise God, we live in a state where it's a part-time legislature. They will be out by end of March, early April, and we can see what they did. And if they don't do what they're telling us they're going to do, and that's deal with these outrageous property tax increases, then you can blast them. Let's blast them. I'm all for blasting them.
See what they can do and then blast them.
Why can't we just blast them now? They've known about this. This has been going on, Micah, since 2010 when they put the caps into place. They knew when they had the assessment process installed that they could get around the caps. Why can't we just blast them now?
Well, I think you do. I mean, I think I think, Rob, you're really good at blasting, the Republicans. That's what I like about you, because trust me, I get frustrated with the Republicans too. We're always retroactive. We're never proactive as a Republican Party. We're always on our heels, like, oh, I didn't see this one coming. And it's like, to your point, you should have seen this coming. But listen, that's water under the bridge. What are you going to do about it now? And I think we are seeing a shift in the Republican Party as a whole, where you're getting good, like the Thomas Masseys of the world are getting into office. And I think that's what I'm excited about when it comes to the Republican Party, where you're seeing the shift towards these are people who just hate the BS just like you and I do, and they're getting into office. And now let's give them a chance to do. Now, if they don't do what they're saying they're going to do, then by all means, we've got another serious problem on our hands. Let's get rid of them and go back to the drawing board. But I do think you're encouraging them in a good way. I think that's good.
You're so encouraging, Rob.
Isn't that weird though? It is like Richard Nixon running for president. I have a plan to get out of Vietnam. Great. What is it? Can't tell you because the enemy might know. Like what? Why are they hiding this plan from us? They're hiding it because they don't have one. But that's just the most ludicrous thing ever. We're working very hard on what? Can't tell you.
Well, I think that's true. I don't think they have a plan, but I do think they know that they need to do something. And so I think they're putting the plan together as we speak. And again, it is a political win. This is not Vietnam. This is not we have an enemy that wants to, there's no who in Indiana, like normal Hoosier is going to say, "Oh, I want my property taxes to remain high or go higher," right? This is a political win. If you say, well, here's the plan to make your life easier, Hoosiers, everyone's gonna be, saying, man, you guys are our heroes. So the only reason they're probably not putting something out right now is because they really don't have it probably dialed down into what they need it to be. And there was that report that came out a couple days ago where you have the elite, the politicos of the world saying, well, we don't want to do anything because we don't know what it's going to do to government spending. It might hurt government, to which you and I would say, well, good, let's hurt government a little bit more. But I think that's kind of what they're wrestling with right now. They've got the elite insiders saying, well, we don't want to hurt the government. And then you've got the strong, pro, people kind of candidates or politicians in there now that are saying, no, we want to hurt the government. Let's give some relief to the people.
Micah, okay, so Rob had mentioned that they've known about this problem since 2010. Isn't this kind of like someone who's pregnant and has known that the baby is coming, but waits until they're in the delivery room to start buying the baby crib and the furniture? Like, oh, this is really happening.
Well, or it could be like the show where they were pregnant and unaware that they were pregnant, and all of a sudden the baby drops out. They're like, "Oh my goodness, what's this?" Right? You guys ever see that reality show? I thought that was pretty. Either
way, they're not being proactive about it, though.
That's true. That they're not, and I think that's the criticism that we can lob to the Republican Party. And me being a Republican, I take that. Like I own that too. It's like we as Republicans are always retroactive. and that's why the Democrats are so good. They're on their toes. They actually are proactive, and they'll create narratives. They'll lie about it for sure, but they create these narratives, and they're out ahead of these things. And the Republicans are like, oh, where'd that come from? Like, I didn't see that one, and where I think we've got to get better at being visionaries in the Republican Party, saying, here's a problem that's coming down the pike. Let's deal with it now before it becomes a real problem.
Micah Beckwith, our guest, you said at the State House yesterday you had a conversation with Jim Lucas. What is his deal, man? Do I need to do we need to do a welfare check on that guy? Like, what is his deal with me? That is very creepy that a state rep is tagging a radio broadcaster incessantly on a Sunday afternoon. I mean, it's just weird behavior from a state rep, right? Did you talk to him about this? Did you hug him?
Here's what I told Jim. I said, Jim, and I'm going to tell you the same thing, Rob. I said, Jim, you and Rob are brothers from another mother. You're cut from the same cloth. And he was very offended that I said that. and I said, hey, you guys are fighters. That's why I like both of y'all, because you're fighters. You don't always get it right. I mean, and I know Jim doesn't always get it right, and he would probably never say that he always gets it right. But we want fighters in there. You guys agree on 80 to 90% of everything in there. And I would just say to Jim is he's okay, put your money where your mouth is, which he knows that. Like, he's got to do something now about things like these property tax issues that you're bringing up. But then I would say the same thing. It's like, okay, give him a chance to actually do something this season, and then let's see what happens. And but you both are fighters, and that's what I appreciate about you. You're not gonna back down. You're not gonna say the thing that's politically correct just because you don't want to, shake up the waters a little bit. And so I think you guys really do have a lot in common. That's why I like both of y'all. So.
But like, I've been giving them a chance. He came in here on this radio station on the gas tax and was just, it's the greatest thing ever. You're totally fine. Our roads are wonderful. What a great value you're getting. I mean, how many chances do I have to give these people before it's just like they love high taxes? I mean, these Republicans love high taxes.
Well, yeah, but I mean, okay, we'll put the blame where the blame's due, though. Is it really Lucas's fault that that's happening, or is it leadership's fault?
He's voting for it, Micah!
Well, I'm not saying that he couldn't do things differently, but what I'm saying is, where is the lead? I had multiple conversations with people down at the State House yesterday, and they were asking about, state kind of vision, like where I thought like vision for the state was going. And I said, what we need is a DeSantis to lead us, because we don't have that right now. We could, if we look at Florida's legislature, they're a great example on how to do this. They weren't a supermajority Republican Party. They didn't have a strong, legislator or legislator leading the charge into the battle. They were weak up until a guy named Ron DeSantis became governor, and he barely won. Remember, he barely won 4 years ago. And what did he do? He got in there. He said, you all are going to get in line, and I'm leading this thing, and I will take the arrows for you, but this is where we're going. And all of the Republicans in that legislature said, praise the Lord, there's a leader that we can get behind, and we're a little bit safe because he's given us cover. Mm-hmm. We really need that in Indiana, and we don't have that. Eric Holcomb has not been that for us. So if you're looking for Jim Lucas to be that guy, he can't. He's not in a position of authority to be that guy. I want him to be the voice, sure, but he's not in that position. And so who is it going to be? Is it going to be Bray? Bray's not going to do that. Is it going to be Houston? Houston's not doing that. I think both Bray and Houston and the legislature in Indiana is desperately longing for Ron DeSantis to get behind. And if we can get that, then we will be the shining light of how this should work around the country. And we'll be talking about whoever our governor is next. We'll be saying, hey, they could have a presidential run in their future. And so that's really what needs to happen, in my opinion.
Well, who's going to step in and be that leader? Because we're sitting here and we've got 2 more years.
Well, I'm pushing for Rob Kendall, but I don't know about you. So.
No. I'm very retired, and Casey would be so sad if I left.
No, Micah, seriously. I mean, I know that's the fun and easy answer. Hey, Rob, you do it. But
Sure.
Seriously, who is the leader of the party in Indiana? Who's going to take care of this?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I think that's something we need to be praying about. We got to say, Lord, raise up those leaders. I mean, you go back to Scripture. I mean, you look at a guy like Gideon. I mean, Gideon, the Israelites were in total disarray. They didn't know what to do, and all of a sudden, the Lord goes to this one unassuming character named Gideon, who's hiding in a shed, and doesn't want to lead. And the Lord says, arise, mighty warrior. I'm going to use you to lead my people to a great victory. And I think in Indiana, we're still in that place. I think we're saying, all right, Lord, like, where's the Gideon? Where's the leader we can rally behind? But I'll tell you this, whoever it is, they have to know that they themselves can't do this. They have to realize that they're going to have to rely on the supernatural divine anointing that God gives them. And if we can get someone, that's why I think Ron DeSantis is so good. I think Ron DeSantis has a faith that he recognizes that it's not him, it's God working through him. And so we need a leader like that can get out there and say, it's not me, but I know the one who can fix this, and I will lead us down the path that he creates for us, and he's the Almighty. His name is Jesus, and we're gonna follow him. And so I think that's what we've got to be praying for as a state.
Yeah, it can't be me, because I'm like the Giving Tree in Shel Silverstein's The Giving Tree. I have nothing left to give. My limbs have been chopped down. My trunk has been taken over. I am just a stump now. I have nothing left to give to the people of this state other than this radio show. So it can't be me, Micah.
Well, I don't know. Listen. I think you still have some potential. You're not. What are you saying? You're going to retire and just float off into the iceberg? Just put your iceberg and send you off into the ocean. I think God's still got a plan for you. And I think God brought Casey into your life to help. You just not retire.
Here's the thing, though, Micah. If they don't fix the property taxes, I'm going to have to get 9 other jobs, so I won't be able to focus on anything other than the 9 other jobs.
That's a good point. And to that point, if any Republican legislator is listening right now, this is a political win. This is an easy softball. You can knock it out of the park. Everybody in India, who is going to fight this other than the establishment crony, elitist that we have in Indianapolis saying, well, we want more for the government. 99% of the people in Indiana are going to say, yes, please lower my property taxes. I mean, this is a political just softball, like hit it out of the park, Indiana Republicans, and you'll be set up for another, 4 to 8 years.
Well, Micah, get on that hotline to God and start asking him for names.
Yes, please, quickly. He is the conservative voice of the state of Indiana, Pastor Micah Beckwith. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Big Hammer and Nigel show today, 3 to 7. The latest on what's happening with Washington, and it's a big week for the Delphi trial. 93 WIBC.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, above your eyes, below your eyes, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor, you've visited urgent care over and over again, and it's always the same thing. I know. Let's try antibiotics and nasal sprays. But the sinus infections keep coming back. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty. Imagine the relief of not having to deal with your sinus infections anymore. Set an appointment today with Indianapolis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can find options that fit your budget, because giving you options is the right thing to do.
Oh yeah, like when I hold the door for someone. Sure, it may be weird if I don't time it right, and they're a little too far away, and now they're running, and we're both asking ourselves, is it worth it to run instead of just, letting them open their own door?
But still, it's the right thing to do. So get options based on your needs with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
The new year is here. Time for a change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand IT field with My Computer Career. In just months. Already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus. And financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
It's 2023, and maybe that means you're potentially looking for a new church home or even a first church home. And if that's you, please consider checking out my friends at Life Church. You know Life Church? That's where a friend of the show, Pastor Micah Beckwith, heard him earlier today. That's where he preaches. Now, we head up to the Noblesville campus, but in addition to Noblesville, Life Church has campuses in Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, in addition to awesome online services. Life Church would love the opportunity to meet and welcome you and your family this year. Learn more at lifechurchin.com.
The Indianapolis Home Show, January 20th through 29th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds and Event Center. 10 days only for great deals, new ideas, and practical advice with trusted local experts. Tour the centerpiece home crafted by custom container builders. Plus, see HGTV stars and twin sisters Leslie Davis and Lindsay Lamb from Unsellable Houses. From kitchens and baths to landscaping and more. Don't miss the Indianapolis Home Show. Save on tickets at indianapolishomeshow.com. Discount courtesy of Central Indiana Chevy dealers.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for plenty of advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and foundation. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
I'm not your stepping stone.
It is 11:49. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. So not the World Cup, not the Oscars, not the Olympics, not even the President of the United States can compete with the NFL this past year. It is by far America's favorite sports league, and it is also one of our favorite things to watch on television. It accounted for 82 of the country's 100 most watched telecasts over the past year.
Isn't that incredible? Think about that. So 82 out of 100 broadcasts, the top 82 were the National Football League. So that includes 1 through 23, with the exception of number 7, I believe like the State of the Union or something like that. There was a political, State of the Union. But other than that, 1 through 23 were the National Football League. That's absolutely unbelievable and totally incredible. I mean, the power of the National Football League in this country is completely unmatched.
So they were responsible for about 10% of all live television viewing last year, and they made 171 billion TV advertisement impressions. So pretty much if you're going to advertise on TV, you want to be in NFL because that's where the eyeballs are.
And we're not even talking about, in some cases, prime time viewing. Like number 10 was the Thanksgiving Day game daytime, like noon,
right,
between the Bills and the Lions. Now, I get people are home, they're around the dinner table, whatever. But, I mean, it's 99.2 million people watched the Super Bowl. That's almost a third of the country. That means almost 1 out of every 3 people was watching the Super Bowl.
Well, the overall television viewing pie is shrinking. People are cutting the cord, but the NFL's portion just keeps growing and growing. It's an exciting game. It's unpredictable. It's group activity.
And it also does show why such a financial premium is put on live sports, because the advertisers have recognized that you can theoretically flip the channel like to another game, I guess. But 1 minute after that game's over, the
toilets flush.
Well, yeah,
everyone walks away.
I mean, the unique
Does their
nature.
business?
Like if you, I'm just picking a TV show here. If you watch Yellowstone, you can record Yellowstone if you get it on your provider and go back and watch it 2 days later. And there's a good chance not everybody around the water cooler is talking about Yellowstone, or you will know the results if you desire not to know the results. A football game,
right?
You know, a minute after it's over, here's what happened, here's who won, here's how it blah, blah, blah. I remember as a kid, every day, my my dad would tape the Chicago Cubs game. They were on from basically 1 until 4 Eastern during the Eastern time zone. I think that was back when we used to flip. So during the summer, we were on the same Central time. So you knew, hey, don't turn the TV on. I got very clear instructions every day when we got home from school. Do not turn the TV on. We don't want to know. So we were not allowed to basically touch the TV until 4:30 because you didn't have a cell phone, or instantaneously you knew the result. So then at 4:30, you could start watching the ball game, and unless you watched the news, you didn't know the results of the ball game. That doesn't happen anymore. Now you got to watch that stuff in real time, which means you probably got to watch the ads.
Yeah, live events, anything can happen. And Damar Hamlin, what just happened to him, that proves that.
Yeah, it's a great point.
It can't miss. Plus, NFL gives people an identity. I'm a Bears fan. I'm a Colts fan. And it puts you in this group of other people. Plus, we like watching talented athletes.
Here's the other thing that's really interesting is the national championship game, which was just played last night for this year, came in at number 34 on the list. So there were 2 governmental related things. I don't know what the other one was because it doesn't say, but 1 through 33, other than 2 mega governmental related events. I don't know if that was that Biden blood red speech that he gave or whatever.
Or the first night of the January 6th committee hearing.
Yeah, you're right.
That prime time special red carpet.
So think about that. Other than 1 through 30, other than 2 major political events in which every network dedicates coverage to whatever that is, the top 33 were the National Football League. The national championship college football game came in at 34th.
Wow.
The biggest game for college football was behind 31 other NFL related events, including that has to be a whole ton of regular season events.
Well, NFL stirs controversy. Who's better? Who's going to win? People like talking about it. It's dramatic, creates bonding experiences, and now a lot of people have money riding on it.
Yeah. That is interesting, right? I wonder how much sports betting has increased viewership and overall interest in sports.
Well, let's keep going on with sports. And this former Virginia Tech soccer player, do you remember her? She filed a federal lawsuit against Virginia Tech because they cut her from the team, or they quit playing her. They benched her pretty much. And she says that she was targeted because the coach disliked her political views. And this all stems from BLM stuff.
Yeah, she didn't kneel. Yes, she stood for the national anthem.
Right.
Yes.
And they were having a little timeout, a little kumbaya moment. And she said, no, I'm not doing this. And she stood for the national anthem. And right after that, she was a starting player her first 2 years, got a lot of minutes. And then this happened. And then her junior year, she quit getting playing time. So she filed a federal lawsuit. And the school agreed to drop the lawsuit in exchange for $100,000.
So basically, she got $100,000. They said, we're sorry, here's $100,000.
Right. Is that an admission?
Of course it's not legally an admission. Of course it's an admission.
Yeah, they don't technically have to admit to anything, but since they paid her out, is that their way of saying...
Think about that, Casey.
Maybe.
The school basically admitted, whether they legally admitted or not, you were a good soccer player. We punished you because you refused to not kneel. You were punished for standing for the national anthem. That's where we're at in our education system today, where the school basically admitted, we punished you for standing for the national anthem and saying this BLM stuff is all a giant crock of bullcrap. And she was ultimately proven completely correct.
Yeah. She ended up quitting the team. Doesn't play anymore, well, especially for that coach.
By the way, other than Democrats and Democrat-related causes, can anybody tell me where all that BLM money went and who got helped? Other than, of course, like Patrice Cullors at the top.
Right, and Alicia Garza. They got helped. All right, thank you, Rob. Good job, Kevin. And thank you for listening today. Please come back tomorrow. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight guaranteed, only $49.99. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. This hypnosis is designed to destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars Thursday, January 19th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking 8 p.m. And Saturday, January 21st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop smoking 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
It's Jesse Kelly here. I can't afford to lose 30% of my 401k or IRA again, and I'm assuming you can't either. Call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it easy as